that finished? Okay. Play whatever you need, and then we'll get you the screen to break. Just put it on the machine. Gilchrist will be the whites.
Or we just can take up the photographs.
Sure.
If you don't mind, guys.
Welcome everyone. This is the live streaming of the final of the Walter Lindrum Australian Open Billiards Championship from Melbourne, Australia. My name's Jason Colebrook and I'm joined by Peter Tankard. G'day Peter.
G'day Jace, how are you?
I'm very good. This looks like being a great final.
Well, we're in for a treat. We were always going to be in for a treat when we saw the 4 semi-finalists. We might have predicted those 4 would have gone through. In fact, they went through in seeded order, I think.
This final's coming to you from the Yarraville Club Billiards and Snooker Club, the Yarraville Academy. A great facility here. The Yarraville Club, big supporters of the sport in Victoria.
Yeah, and I suppose we should thank our other supporters as well. In this case, the Victorian Government, the ABSC, Billiards Australia, Consolidated Leisure and Sport, and all of the people who've made this tournament possible.
And World Billiards.
And of course, well, it is a World Billiards event after all.
But World Billiards kicked in a bit of money.
Oh, right, okay. Well, thank you, World Billiards.
You're welcome.
Jason says you're welcome because he is, in fact, the managing director of World Billiards.
So this final's between Peter Gilchrist from Singapore and Dhvaj Haria from India. By sheer coincidence, the 2 tallest players in the field.
Yeah, I think Peter's got him by an inch, doesn't he?
He does. Peter's 195 centimetres, Dhvaj is about 193.
Yep. They've played each other quite a few times. I think it would be fair to say that Dhvaj has been watching Peter since he was a very, very young man, and in some ways, stylistically, I think models himself on Peter. They're the same body shape, same build, and I think it'd be fair to say that Peter's been one of the inspirations for Dhvaj as an up-and-coming player.
Yeah, great player, Dhvaj. For quite a few years now,
The player's mobile phone went off. Unbelievable! Referee, is that a foul?
That's the tournament director, Paul Cosgrave, in his "Let's get ready to rumble" voice.
well known for his booming voice.
Yep. And also well known as a brilliant tournament director and a referee in his own right as well.
I just learned a few minutes ago that Dhvaj Haria's hometown, India, is where the plane crashed overnight.
Oh no, Ahmedabad.
He's from that town, yep.
Oh wow. Did he? Well, he wouldn't know at this stage whether he knows anyone on board.
No,
or
I
not,
don't think he did.
But he'd be moving in those circles,
yes.
you know, because he's spends a lot of time in the UK, and a lot of those people, well, all of those people, were travelling to the UK.
This will be a 3-hour timed final. The players will take a short break at the halfway mark.
So how did these two get through to this final, Jace?
Peter played, I haven't looked at the scores, Peter played Steve Mifsud in the semi-final. He said to me that he was always a couple of hundred ahead, won by about 300.
Right.
He wasn't entirely happy with his form.
Peter was not, or Steve was not?
Peter wasn't.
Oh, okay.
But, well, he rarely is. But Dhvaj, I believe, played possibly the match of his life against Rob Hall. Made
Yes.
consecutive 300, 200 and 100 breaks,
Wow.
which is a fantastic
Like
performance.
600 unanswered.
Yes.
Well, that's-
Dhvaj is... He's always been known for pounding in the hundreds, makes lots of 100 breaks and
Yep.
big hundreds, but doesn't often get past the 200 mark. So that's great to see. We've had a number of tournaments where, in the last few years, where Dhvaj has been the player of the tournament in the group stage, especially in the 100 and 150 up format, and has just not quite been able to get over the top players in the knockout stage. Both of these guys played in the warm-up snooker tournament, the Lance Panel Classic. Peter reached the final, lost 3-2 in the final to Rob Hall. Dhvaj made the quarterfinals.
And Steve Mifsud did well as well. So the snooker players must be getting tired of the billiards players coming in, stealing all the lollies and running away.
Yeah. Well, they well and truly demonstrated that they're great cuists.
Yeah, with a comprehensive skill set.
Peter's got a record of high performance in snooker tournaments, but Rob winning the Lance Panel Classic, that would have been a surprise to many people.
Yeah. Having said that, he was runner-up to Sourav Qatari. Was it last year or the year before? So he's not a complete surprise. Brilliant potter, probably the best potter in the field, in both the Lance Panel and in this field as well. It's a real weapon for Rob Hall, that ability to drill the long pots from anywhere.
So this tournament has changed names a bit over the years. It used to be the Australian Open Billiards Championship. Then for a few years it was called the Pacific International Billiards Championship. This is the first year it's been called the Walter Lindrum Australian Open Billiards Championship.
So the referee for this final is Bo Hanley.
I think he did the final of the Lance Panel Classic Snooker as well.
Well, he's another one who's flexible, isn't he? I mean, tremendous referee. He's been on the scene here for a couple of years and has become a very, very well-respected referee. So traditional break-off shot. Oh, missed it by a whisker.
No, it's just
Did he
feathered
make it?
Yeah, just
Oh.
feathered it.
Well done. Then in that case, it's a great start.
It's such a big target though when you put the red down into the
Yeah,
corner
too
like
close
that.
to the corner. That one was too close to the corner, wasn't it? I noticed in the World Open, Jason, in Ireland, where both of us were playing, that because it was a problem to pot the opponent, that allowed people on the break-off shot to leave the ball more out in the middle, and thereby getting the red more towards the nameplate on the table rather than over a corner pocket. It was almost like players were saying, have a go at potting me if you want.
Yeah, that's right.
They were played under the modified rules, where there was no protection for Baulk coming in on your first shot.
So Dhvaj has quite a long bridge. Doesn't seem to bother him. He's very accurate potter, but he's probably got a slightly longer bridge than most of the other players.
I think he's got a slightly longer everything than most of the other players, hasn't he? He's like Peter. He's all legs. They're very similar body shape.
He's a very nice young guy too.
Yeah, lovely guy. We've been talking about Dhvaj being a future world champion, but we've been saying that for 10 years now, haven't we? I mean, he's good enough. He just doesn't seem to break through in the final. Today could be different.
But this is a sport where players peak later in life.
Absolutely.
Peter's 57 or 58. Dave Causey is 50.
What do you think is the peak age for billiards players?
Good question.
40s to 50s?
Yeah, I think so. I think you continue learning.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time with Peter, as you know. We both live in Singapore, and even now we're still talking about shots that, what's the best way to play this shot? I saw someone play it this way, someone else plays it that way. You're continually learning in this game.
But there does come a point where the physicality becomes less reliable. I mean, there's not been in the modern era a snooker player over 50 who's won the world championship in the Crucible era. Mark Williams came close this year until the Zhao Jintong steam train hit him.
But yeah, I think billiards is different. I mean, Bob Marshall from Western Australia was runner-up in the IBSF billiards at 76 years of age.
Yes. But that's not to say he was at his peak then.
No. So Dhvaj, first opportunity to make a break. He's got them at perfect floating white. The opponent's ball is just sort of that one ball to the side of the spot, which is exactly what you want.
Yep. From here, he'll be playing a recovery cannon from underneath to boot the white ball back up towards that red spot. Needs the red to bounce a bit. It didn't, so he has to come away from top.
He's played that shot with strong left-hand side, but helps to kick the red further up the table, hoping to get the red up near the middle pocket. Got a bit of a choice here. Does he go in off the red? Does he play the drop cannon? Looks like he's going to play the in off the red.
So he's trying to get it into a potable position in either the middle or the corner pocket, so he
It's
can...
not quite right. He's going to have to play the
restore
long
top.
loser.
For those of you who've stumbled in here because in the title it says billiards, what you're actually looking at is English billiards. Ooh, surprising miss. Is English billiards. 3-ball game played on a billiards table, not a snooker table. It's the same table, it's just called a billiards table because this was the original game played on the 12x6 table.
He'll be disappointed with that miss.
He will. It went wide, and I think that's caught a few of the players out here, is that most of the long losers have been missed on the wide side this week.
This is being played on superfine cloth, strawn superfine.
Oh,
The cushions have
Mr.
got
Baulk.
strawn 6/8 double 130 ounce on the cushions. That's a sort of standard policy that you have a slightly heavier cloth on the cushions than you put on the bed.
Is that for wear or playability?
Playability. You don't want the cushions to be too springy compared to the pace of the bed. This is a unique table in Australia. This is an Alcock, Thompson and Taylor table, or Alcocks as they're known now, but it has steel back cushions, which is the sort of preferred manufacturing method in England and Asia, but in Australia we haven't used steel back cushions. Alcock's made this a few years back specifically for the Australian Open snooker,
Yes.
and they pretty much made it just to prove they could do it.
Yep.
So this is the only table I know of, amongst the ones we regularly play out around Melbourne and Sydney, that has steel back cushions. And it was used for a number of years at the Mounties Club for the Australian Open snooker.
What a
And
lovely shot.
when they no longer decided it, Yarraville Club got the opportunity to purchase the table. So it's been here ever since.
Right. So the last shot that Dhvaj played to set that up was a masterpiece of precision to get that white ball back into top of the table position and also promote the red for a pot with an angle to come down. So it worked out perfectly for
He's
him.
not quite right here. He had to stun that. He just didn't quite have the angle to play the correcting cannon off the back. He's got a little bit much done, but this will be fine. He'll play this with strong right-hand side. You'll see the cue ball dart to the left, just like that.
15.
Well, great start from Dhvaj here.
And this is where in timed billiards, compared to sports like snooker and pool, if you're the player sitting out, you just don't know how long you're going to be sitting out. In snooker or pool, after the next frame or rack, you're up.
Correct.
But this break could go for 5 minutes. This break could go for half an hour.
Well,
You just don't know.
that's right. I mean, some of the breaks that Peter has made, including his world record 1346, would take more than an hour to manufacture. And that's a long time to be sitting out.
Both of these players have made 300 plus breaks this week at top of the table. This tournament is using the Baulk line crossing rule, which means between 80 and 99, the player must make his cue ball cross the Baulk line from out of Baulk into Baulk. So it just makes it that little bit harder to make massive breaks.
Well, if you look at those break records, as I know you've done, you'll often see that the players break down either just before or just after crossing that century line, because they're either playing a riskier shot trying to set up the Baulk line crossing, or they suffer from a poor Baulk line crossing. So a lot of breaks, it does work. That Baulk line crossing rule does work in limiting scoring and breaking up top of the table.
That's not what he wanted there. It's hard to tell from our angle whether he can drop that red in slowly or whether he's going to play the long loser. The long Jenny. He's going to play the long Jenny.
Yeah, he'd have to play the long Jenny there, I think.
So you're playing this with very strong right-hand side in this case,
Yes.
to
So
hopefully spin it in off the bottom cushion jaw down this end.
So watch for the ball spinning like a top and then snapping in off that far jaw.
Now a long loser.
Bring it around to the middle pocket.
What you don't want to do on this shot is lose the red into the jaws of the right-hand top pocket, but he should be fine here.
Yep. I think both Dhvaj and Peter have fond memories of Melbourne. They've both performed very well here in the past. I think Dhvaj's best performance was probably making the final of the Reed Furniture World Open Billiards in 2019, where he played the mighty David Corsier in possibly the most exciting time match I've ever seen.
He's run a bit far there, so he's going to cut this in, come off that side cushion.
Lost it here, I think.
Play a very
Or has
slow cut on the red.
You're right.
Now he's got them in pretty good position here. He would love to have been just a touch higher there. Probably played this as a run through rather than off the top cushion. I think he's just not got quite the right angle.
57.
You're right again. Wondering whether he can play the cannon here and promote the white.
Dhvaj is using an Elkmaster medium tip. Peter is using a Straights Billiards Paradigm medium tip.
Is that a maple cue that Dhvaj is playing with?
I didn't notice.
Can't see any
I
grain
don't think
on
it was, but I can't remember. Peter uses a maple cue.
Yeah.
60 flat.
So he's going to have to develop something. He's got the his opponent's ball outside what we call the box for top of the table. He may be able to recover it.
What do you mean by the box?
So the box is an area behind the billiard spot, or the black spot as some people will know it, roughly sort of 10 inches both sides and up to the spot. If you get your opponent's ball in that box, you can manufacture breaks at top of the table. So you've got a nice cannon there onto the white to leave it in off the white. It's going to touch far, but this will be no problem for him.
So just digging down in there to create a wider angle.
We'll probably see him go in off the red and send it down to this end of the table to leave a drop cannon. There's some debate about why it's called a drop cannon. I've always been told that it's because you have your cue ball drop gently onto the second ball. Someone told me a conflicting theory the other day, but it didn't make any sense, so I immediately forgot it.
So that's white's come around to this side.
So he's just received the book line warning, so he needs to set up how he's going to do the book line crossing here. Sometime in the next sort of 15 or 18 points, he has to get his cue ball across the book line.
So is he of the Pankaj
No, he
style?
doesn't usually go to the middle. Pankaj likes to leave a pot into the middle from the what would be the wrong side in
Spot
snooker.
end, yes.
I think what he'll want here is to leave himself a half ball pot on the red, and he'll use that to cross the book line. I think we'll see it here. Top spin and very strong left-hand side. Round off several cushions.
And comes around to this side of the table because that's where the white is, and now he can just promote the white, tap the red.
That
and
looks
he's got them back.
absolutely perfect from our angle.
It does.
A little decision to make here. Will he roll the red in thin slowly, or will he go in off? All the modern players have multiple extensions for their cues these days. You almost never see anyone go to the provided half putt or long cue by the club.
I think that's mostly about playing with your own tip, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. It's
Yeah.
so much different. Before we had those, some clubs would go to there's so much weight in the long
Yes.
cues that it was
And you-
almost impossible not to stun it.
And you had a 15mm tip made
Yeah,
of wood or cement or something.
possibly 20 years old.
Yeah.
So thick in off and bring it back up for a pot in the middle, he'll be hoping.
You could just leave it halfway for a drop cannon, but no, you're all right. Come a bit far, that one. He's a bit too straight now.
This is the shot that Saraf Kathari sets them up dead straight and runs through into
Yes.
the side cushion and
Yes.
down.
Rob
But
Hall does the same. Got to be very, very confident pot
Yep.
to play that. Well, this is a great start from Dhvaj so far. This is the point when Peter's on 0. This is against an amateur opponent that usually the amateur will ask his mate to take a picture of the scoreboard. Because we know the scoring power of the man from Singapore when he finally gets a shot. He won't be at all worried about this.
So in the last World Billiards tournament before this one, in the semi-final against Rob Hall, Peter was 316 behind with about 25 minutes to go.
Was this Bruges?
Yes, he made the European Open, made a 326 unfinished.
Mm.
So he won't be too stressed about being 150 behind.
No, I mean, somebody's got to get a start, and in this case it's Dhvaj. So,
but he'll be hoping it doesn't become 250, 350, 450.
Well, yeah, he's got the capacity, hasn't he? I mean, he got them to top so quickly. There have been 2 breaks, essentially, so far. And both of them, he was at top within 2 or 3 shots.
I played Dhvaj in the group stage. I kept him away from top for about 25 minutes.
Well done.
And then he went 98, 244.
Yep. It's hard to keep the fox away from the chickens.
Yeah. Someone came up to me with about half an hour to go and said, "How are you going?" And I said, "I'm playing okay, but I'm 400 behind."
Yep. I remember asking Todd Hayward how he was going against Steve Mifsud a few years ago, and he said, "I think I'm playing well, I just don't know. I haven't had a shot yet." Overcut. Oh, no, it drops in.
The pockets on these tables are what we used to call the IBSF template,
Yes.
around from about 1981 or 2.
Yep.
So if your home club has star tables or Waraka perhaps, these pockets are a little bit more generous.
Yep.
If your home club has Riley's, these are almost exactly the same. Many clubs, of course, have far more generous pockets.
Yes.
But these are more or less the standard size pockets we play at most of the clubs in Australia.
In Melbourne, I
In
will
Melbourne,
say.
yes.
In Sydney, our pockets tend to be what they call a social cut, and that's their way of saying we've made it easy for the hackers.
But they're playing fairly generous, I find, the pockets. I've been playing in Singapore on tighter pockets. But
Agreed.
the combination of that slightly larger pocket and the new cushion cloths,
Yes.
slidey off the jaws.
Yep.
If you've
So
been
the ball
playing
will
on if you've been playing on a star table, these feel generous.
Yes.
If you've been playing in Sydney, they feel tight.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you were setting up a table at home, what would you set up? An easy pocket or a hard pocket?
If I was planning on travelling internationally, I'd set up a tough pocket.
Mm.
If I was content to just play in Australia, I'd go with these.
Mm.
When I did have a home table, I had exactly the same pocket cut, but the same pocket opening, but no undercut.
Okay.
So I played just a smidgen tighter.
I think and people can get confused about when we talk about the pocket cuts.
This is a tricky one here. You'll probably just trickle in off this slowly to leave a pot. But he'd love to be potting it, but it looks
Yes.
risky.
Sorov would pot it, Rob Hall would pot it. But Dhvaj is a little more cautious.
So that's one on a star table you wouldn't even consider potting.
No, indeed. So I think the main difference with how difficult the star tables is not actually the pocket opening size, but how deep into the pocket the fall of the slate is. So you've got to get that ball all the way into the pocket before it drops.
Yes, the fall is a long way back.
A long
I've
way
got a
back.
photo of a ball on a star table that's sitting against the jaw in the middle pocket, and you can't see the red.
Yes. I've also got a photo of that, and it was actually from a game in Singapore. From on the star tables in Singapore, match against Wayne Carey, where I stopped the clock to take a photo of the position. My ball was in the middle of the jaws, and it was angled on a ball on the side rail and simultaneously angled on a ball on the top rail. Couldn't see either ball from the centre of the pocket.
So
That's how
Dhvaj is
far
coming
back
up to another Baulk line crossing here. This shot will take him to 180. So now he has to cross the Baulk line before 199, or on the shot when he's on 199. I don't think he'll go straight to the crossing. I would think he'll pot this and leave himself the cannon from behind and then cross it.
Not yet.
That's a bit low.
Yep.
He may screw back and then play the cannon from behind. It's hard to tell from this angle.
That would be the right shot, wouldn't it? That's it. Now that angle's good.
So he'll want to leave a roughly half ball pot after this cannon, and then we'll see him cross the Baulk line. About
That's
like
the
that.
one.
Top spin and left-hand side. A lot of people think you need screw on that, but you don't. And that shot.
Oh, trouble. Trouble. Now this is tricky. This is tricky. He could attack it from behind with side.
I think he's going to play straight run through, probably with pace.
He wants to avoid that red to white kiss, doesn't he?
Oh, he's played safe.
Yeah, safety.
So that's
Oh,
very interesting.
that is interesting.
It's probably a smart move. 236 ahead.
Sure.
We mentioned Dhvaj's breaks in the semi before. He's made 318, 118 and 211 consecutively, which is just a fantastic semi-final. And they were at the start of the match.
Yes. So he's essentially put 650 on Rob Hall before Rob's had time to think about it.
In the meantime, the other player goes cold.
Yep. Speaking of which, so, I mean, now here's the wisdom of Dhvaj's plan. He knows that Peter is an attacking player and that he'd have a go. And he's left a possibility, an opener for Dhvaj here. Red's gone ugly.
But he got a very nice drop on the white there.
Yep.
He may try and put this near the pyramid spot and then go in off it again to put it near the red. No, he's going around.
Oh, that's in.
That's
no,
risky.
Just missed it.
He must have had to screw that to do that.
Yeah.
He's actually ended up with it near the pyramid spot, but
Well,
not,
he has.
not the way we thought it would go.
He has. So a white off one cushion should put it right next to the red. Needs to come a little. That's workable.
Crucial that he gets a nice drop on the red here. This shot can end up beautiful, or it can go
It
very
can.
nasty.
Oh,
That's
that's
lovely.
pretty good.
That's lovely.
That's pretty good. Didn't want the white back in Baulk,
And
but
that's the way Peter plays that shot too, to bring them both down into that corner.
to leave the possibility of the cannon in
Yeah.
case you don't get the
Yeah.
good setup on the red.
I think he can put this red in and leave it in off the white.
I think he can. Little bottom and left hand side.
Little bounce. That's about
Perfect.
perfect.
Just about perfect.
And then he's going to try and put this into the drop cannon position.
So just past. Oh no.
Oh no,
No.
had to play it a bit slower. It must have been slightly narrow. A few of us were debating this shot the other day.
Well, that's a good one. I think this one came up in Ask the Champ, did it not?
Yes.
And I think Peter said he prefers to go to top as soon as he can.
So
But
some of us played that shot harder, and some played it just get a good red. He's played that beautifully.
well, lots of opportunities
So
here.
many choices here.
Yeah,
You could go pot red
Pot red in off white.
He could go pot red in off white.
Or
369 and
or
then
we
in
could
off
play,
white.
yeah, that's right. There were a lot of choices.
No,
He's
now
come a
gonna
bit
go in
far.
off
He's
white.
come a bit far, yeah. Drags it in with strong running side.
Now he's got the drop cannon.
Yep. These are crucial, aren't they, Jason? They're a bit of a lottery always, the drop cannon. You never know exactly where you're going to end up.
It
You're
can be
moving on three
perfect
balls.
or it can be end of break.
Yep.
That wasn't a natural to get the white back behind the spot, but he's done very well there.
Yep.
I
Is
think
that white blocking the path into the other pocket for the red once it's
I
respotted?
think he's going to go high, and the next shot will be a cannon red to white. No, he can go from behind. It's
He
deceptive
can.
from our angle.
Yep, that's what he's playing. Look at the spin on this ball.
27.
No, he's going to be back at the top here in a moment.
Yep. Well, what a start. It's like the Rob Hall start, isn't it? So we've got 1/6 of the match is almost up, and Peter's not on the scoreboard yet.
Now, I talked to Peter a fair bit. I know Peter will be thinking he's a chance still.
Oh,
There's no way
absolutely.
he's...
Absolutely.
He knows he's capable of making big breaks. He knows he's capable of making back-to-back big breaks.
And Dhvaj knows it too. So neither of them will be thinking this is decisive because it's not. Many a player has made the mistake of writing off Peter Gilchrist.
Stun run through there. He didn't quite have the right angle to play the cannon from behind. Now we'll probably see him go up to the middle here, I think. So he
Needs
wants
to be on the other
just past
side.
the centre
Just
line.
past.
He's going to be fine because that white's to the side of the spot.
Yes, he
So
could
he
just
doesn't
trickle
have to
through.
get down here. Yeah.
He could just trickle through and play a mid-range cannon. But no,
He's aggressive.
bit more authority. Come from behind here.
This is going to need loads of left-hand side.
Yeah, made a little more difficult because he's a bit further away. That's good. So come up high now. Oh no, he's lined him up, I think. Now that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah,
We
it
can't
doesn't-
quite see the angle.
I don't think he can make the run through cannon. Even using side to turn the white ball, I don't think he can make it. But very
No.
tough, almost impossible in off the white in the top.
We've just been tapped on the shoulder by greatness. Mr. Robby Foldvari, 3 times champion of the world, has entered the room. And without too much cajoling, I'm sure we can get him behind a microphone in the not too distant future, which will be exciting for all of us to
So
hear
there's
his
another
expert
very
commentary.
conservative approach from Dhvaj. He really wants this.
Yeah,
That's smart play.
that is smart play.
And it was a good pot white too. It wasn't an easy pot white at all. So Peter's deciding whether he's going to have a go at this round the table cannon or play safe.
Oh, I think we know the answer to that.
I think he was looking at could he put the white on the left-hand side rail.
Yeah.
Would that make an easy enough?
I think Peter wants to get in. Yep, he's... Well, that hasn't worked either.
No.
So, yet again, Dhvaj gets an opening and Peter's back in the chair. And now 1/6 of the match is gone and 300 in the difference, almost. What do you play here, Jace?
I don't know. It's quite tricky.
It is. He's got...
Which is why
obviously,
he's
there's an
looking at-
easy cannon, but moves both the balls
If
away
he
from each other.
If he can go in off the red, bring the red out of Baulk, leave a pot red, then in off white. That would be the preferred method. But
Look
can't
at
tell if he can get in
Look
off
at the
red.
stretch on these guys, isn't this? This is insane. So where those okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't like that, but maybe the other
No.
one wasn't on.
maybe not.
So we're probably going to see pot white double walk.
Yep.
So let's see what he leaves himself here. I see a lot of guys leave themselves only a pot.
Yes.
I think it's nice to give yourself the option, to give yourself a half
Well,
ball.
They say it's better to leave the in off because you can manipulate that red to
Exactly,
almost
yeah.
anywhere on the table from there, whereas a pot is a little bit more defined. You have to come down to the spot for the next shot.
So there's about 3 or 4 things Peter could do here. He could just play his cue ball to the left-hand side rail. He could play across to the right with a bit of side back onto the left side rail in Baulk. Or he may try and move the red.
He looks like he's taking more time, which means he's going to attack it. Exhibition shot here. Oh, he's played this.
Oh.
Go!
Oh, what a great shot that
What
would
a
have been.
great shot. He actually played exactly that shot. I've seen him play it 2 or 3 times. It seems crazy, but he just
likes
comes
that
in
shot.
behind. He loves that shot.
Oh,
It's
what a
a-
great shot that would have been.
Yeah. But still it didn't work. I wonder if it's starting to frustrate him. I'm sure it is. He won't be panicking, but it must be so frustrating to just not have anything when you come to the table. Rather reminds me of my match with Graham Wright, actually. 50 minutes of that.
So Peter's still scoreless. It's surprising,
Incredible, isn't it? You know, so we're 34 minutes in. And this is what we were saying, you know, compared to snooker, they would have racked the frames up 3 or 4 times and you would have had more shots.
Little slow cannon to leave the red over the middle pocket.
That's come short, hasn't
He's
it?
left that behind.
Yeah, that's come short. Has he got to run through on the white here?
No, I think he
No,
can
he's going
get
to
in
screw
off this
around.
and leave it off.
So in and out of Baulk here.
No, I think he's got the angle.
Ooh, he did have the angle. That's
Yeah.
deceptive, isn't it?
And he may play that same shot again here. No. Maybe he's going to pot the red to leave it in off white, or pot the red to leave a drop cannon.
Or a 6 shot.
I don't think he'll do that because the drop cannon's not nice.
No, it's a check side, isn't it?
No, the same shot he just played before and left the red short. Little slow cannon to leave the red near the middle pocket.
That's a better one. That's on the right side of it now.
Leaving himself on the half ball line for the top pocket loser. He'd like to bring the red up into the magic circle, then drop it down for the drop cannon. It's a little bit soft. So cannon next. Leaving them close. Those last 2 shots he's played indicate something I tell the guys I coach. When you're not quite sure what to do, leave them close or leave them in front of you.
Yes.
And you'll always have something you can fashion.
Yes.
If the balls aren't far away, little soft screws are possible. And if they're both in front of you, something's possible.
Yes. It's interesting to see, you know, a lot of the commentary and the debate about what shots to play is often about whether you do something. They're all trying to do the same thing, i.e. get to the top of the table. But often it's a question of how many shots you take to do the same thing and whether you're doing it in 1 shot, 2 shots or 3 shots. And that's what makes billiards for the aficionados so fascinating, is seeing the different strategies evolve and trying to understand the players' thinking.
In the Belgian Open, Peter versus David Corsier, Peter left a double book. Corsier was at top in 3. and made it 288.
Yeah, but David takes no time at all.
Yeah.
But he's got these outrageous shots in the open where they just seem to come together again. Now here's another drop cannon
This
opportunity.
one, a little bit thick, a little bit of check side, because that white's a little bit out at the end of the table.
Oh, get. Now that's a
slightly
little
awkward.
ugly there. Hard to get to the bottom of the cue ball there to screw it in off. Might play across one cushion for the cannon.
Yeah, he may try to leave the red near the middle there if it's on.
Yes. Gone past the middle. Oh.
So this is where I think he's got this safety in the back of his mind
Yes,
during
yes.
this match.
Every shot he's been playing,
Yep.
which has been risky, he's been opted for the cautious approach.
So
If he's had them in control, no problem. But as soon as they start to get a bit dodgy,
this is a tough screwing off here.
yeah.
He's quite close to the cushion. He's got to dig down. Easy. Made it look easy.
Did make it look easy. I mean, these tables are conducive to that shot. There's often debate amongst players whether you play check side or running side on that one.
And I think that was right on the cusp
Yeah.
of one or the other.
Yeah, so it was plain ball in the end.
Slightly closer to the cushion, you'd use check. Peter likes these shots. This is called the long drop cannon.
Yes.
Really prefers this to the cannon where you're dropping down
He
at a ball
does.
on the cushion.
Needs an accurate contact on this red.
But he
always
likes
seems
that
to
you
get
can
one.
give this a bit of a whack.
Yep.
So even on tables that you don't trust, you can hit it firm.
Red's
Now that's-
come
he's
a
not happy
little
with that.
difficult.
Pot or thin enough or run through.
Okay, well, Peter Gilchrist is finally on the scoreboard after almost 40 minutes. What a great win it was of Peter's against David in Bruges. You watched that match, I presume?
The final of the European Open, yes,
Yes.
he played really well.
He played
very
brilliantly.
slowly and deliberately by his standards
Very
at the
slowly.
start of that match.
Very well, all through. I thought he balanced his natural attacking game. Oh, that's gone wrong, and he's going to set the red up and
So-
leave a half ball white.
So anyone that looked at the results of that match, that see that Peter won by 300 odd,
Yes,
doesn't see that Corsier made 350 unfinished to lose by 300 odd.
yes,
Peter was way in front that whole
Yeah.
match.
just controlled the table. You're right, slowed it down. I mean, that was the formula for beating Corsier in my mind. What really, anyone who's ever beaten Corsier has done the same thing, and that's elect what pace you're going to play the match at.
Hello
And
to
stick
all
to
the
your
guys
game
in
plan.
Belgium. If any of you are watching this, special hello to Ollie, our host over there. It was a great tournament. We all really enjoyed it.
So how many full-size tables did they have in the
They have
room?
11,
Wow.
all in very good nick. Two
Wow.
of the tables recovered for the tournament, but the other ones we only used 9. They're all in very good nick. Plenty of space around the tables. It was a really good setup. They had excellent electronic scoreboards. I've taken a photo of the manufacturer's name for future reference. They're just idiot-proof electronic scoreboards that you
Really?
could use. Yeah, you could use for remote, but easy for the players to use. You'd enter, break by break, not score by score.
Okay.
Perfect for billiards or snooker. They're really, really good scoreboards. Quite expensive, 200 plus euros, I think, each. Much better than the early edition of electronic scoreboards.
So is this... no, not quite.
I don't think he can chip it for the drop cannon. I mean, he's got the white over the middle.
Mm.
So bring it back up. Also, it's hard to tell from where we are if he can drop that white behind the spot, but it looks
Yes.
like he can.
Looks like it. So this is what the English players call a drop and pot. push the white behind the billiard spot.
Drop and pot. I've never heard that one.
Rob Hall says drop and pot. Where is
Okay.
he? No, it's fine.
So I think
Yeah.
Peter, I said earlier, Peter doesn't get worried, but I think he'd be starting to get worried.
Well, perhaps not worried, but starting to know that he's got to buckle down next visit. Been an impressive display from Dhvaj here, hasn't it?
Back at the top.
24.
For people that haven't played a lot of billiards, or especially top of the table, don't understand how tricky this top of the table is. It looks easy, but you'll see them playing shots with side. The side changes the path of the first object ball, and then it changes the path of the cue ball after it hits the second ball. So little differences. This is a bit tricky.
Probably the best he could do from there.
That's a nice shot. Let's just have a looking if he can stun up to leave it in off the white next, or whether he rolls through to leave a cannon. Well, that'll be interesting. He might screw back to leave it off the white. I don't think Dhvaj has won an international tournament.
I'm trying to think. Nothing comes to mind. I mean, he's come very, very close. As I said, most famously, he was runner-up to David Corsier in 2019 at the RACV club in Melbourne. If you haven't seen that match, I'm not going to spoil. Well, I already spoiled it, haven't I, by telling you that he was the runner-up. But it was such a fantastic finish. Such a fantastic finish. Did I say runner-up to Rob Hall? I meant runner-up to David Corsier.
Yeah. This one's a bit tricky. There's 2 or 3 things he could do here. You can see by the indecision that he's not quite sure which one to go. That's an example of a case where you just don't try to do too much. Must be close to half ball if he's playing that instead of the stun. No, he's going to play a little soft stun cannon. Leave a good red. Which is a little bit closer than he wanted. This is the shot that's deceptive when you're watching the stream. It looks very wide, but it wasn't.
Yes.
So this is in A1 position for the drop cannon. If you could place it, this is where you'd place it. When there's a little bit of slide on the side cushion.
66.
This one needs a confident pot to run through into the side cushion and up. This is on a star table, this is tough. And he's just making sure that he knows what he wants.
Jason Ryan King sends his greetings. Evening, Jason Colebrook.
G'day, Ryan.
I don't watch much billiards at all, but this is class.
Whoa.
Ooh.
69.
Just as Ryan said it was class, we've seen the first pot missed for the match.
That's right. That's right. He could be in commentary. He's got the commentator's curse
Yep.
already.
Oh, it's not going well for Peter at all.
No,
I think that white's just come off the cushion enough.
the yellow.
Actually, the yellow. We're just talking about this shot the other day. You can play this half ball and get a good red, but you want to play thinner on the white to leave the white in the middle of the table. Like that.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
And that's the danger.
Yes.
You play that thinner to not bury the white on the side cushion.
and you don't
can
have that
just- you can
reliable
just
half
miss
ball
it.
connection.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
So
This
there's-
is starting to become a substantial lead.
Oh, yeah, Peter will be very disappointed with that one.
Bit of a hit and hope, that one.
He'll be happy with that result.
4.
That was a good shot. Get a good red and also leave it in off-white from hand.
Something about this he doesn't like. Is it the bridging?
Yeah, I just think it was an awkward distance for him. It's probably a bit of a little bit of check side in off the white, just slightly narrow.
Push it out to the middle of the table. He's almost got that long drop cannon position, doesn't he? Almost.
No, I
Not
think
quite.
I think we'll see it in off the white. No, he's no.
Looking at it, doesn't like it.
yeah, in off the white's a better shot. Bring it right up. These are interesting, these shots. Everyone tackles these a slightly different way. Some guys will play this as a straight to the top and it almost never works
Yes.
out.
Yes.
I mean, the thick run through straight to the top.
13.
I like
So
that one.
Just left them
He
around
was
the middle.
always going to have something there. He was
Yep.
always going to have a pot red or an in off either of the ball.
Yes. Well, that's an interesting position.
I think he'll see a slow in off the red to leave a drop cannon here.
Mm.
He's just inside the line. Not much, just a touch check. He may bring it up. No, he's bringing it up.
You can see the effect of that check side there, pushing the red over towards the white.
I think he could have gone off that slowly and left it on the pyramid spot for a nice drop cannon.
Needs a good red here.
He's going to go around and have a look where he wants to leave his yellow ball for a drop cannon.
Mm.
And now we know.
Yeah, that's right. So it looks to be a little stun shot here. Yep, that's about right.
where he was, yep.
That's about it.
Tiny bit narrow, so we'll
Yeah,
play
a
this with a
little
little
bit
bit of check. Tiny bit
Left-hand
thick,
side.
little bit of check.
Ooh, caught that very thin. Caught the white ball very thin. So he's ended up thin on the red as well. That's an error.
For people who play the other sports, snooker and pool, when we say running or check, we're usually talking about the effect off the ball, not off the cushion.
Yes,
There are
always.
some shots where check off the ball becomes running off the cushion.
Yeah, it accelerates. But
Yeah.
but all of the old billiards books, which were the original ones, always referred to side in relation to the ball, not in relation to the cushion.
Yes.
But people who aren't playing in offs and aren't so concerned about the path of that cue ball assumed that it was about the cushion effect, and
Yep.
whether it accelerated or not off the cushion or checked off the cushion. But no, it's about the ball. Even today, you'll see in the snooker coaching videos, they still get that wrong. Now, if I can cajole him, Robby Foldvari is wandering around behind me, and I'd be delighted if he took my space and added some expert commentary.
So Robbie's just getting himself settled. Headphones and the microphone. Thanks, Peter. Don't go too far away. We'll need you later. G'day, Robbie. How are you?
All right. I've got a bit of a sore throat, but that's all right.
That just makes your voice sound a bit sexier than normal.
Oh, you're nice. I feel sexy.
What have you been up to?
Not much. Trying to play snooker for a minute, and then doing stuff at RACV and playing a bit of pool. I don't want to blaspheme myself trying to play this game unless I play really well, which is hard to do these days.
Which version of pool have you been playing?
Oh, a bit of 9-ball.
On the American tables?
Yeah, not English pool.
I've become a fan of pool living in Singapore.
I know you told me once
Yeah.
a year ago. Yeah, it's a good game because it's a mixture of you can use the skill of this game actually.
I've discovered with the guys that I coach billiards in Singapore, the guys that come from pool make much better billiards players than the guys that come from snooker.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of cannons and using the angles. They're fractionally different, but you can get used to it pretty easy because the balls are, the same sort of reaction.
Yeah, they're used to running the balls around the tables with a touch aside or whatever, and it's not all stun.
Exactly right. Yeah, there's a lot of spin in American pool and also in this game, obviously. Like nearly every shot you play is with spin in English billiards, that's for sure.
So this wouldn't have been predicted, this result at nearly the 1 hour stage. Peter 400 behind.
Well, you wouldn't think so, really, but you get on a run at billiards, anything can happen. But obviously, Peter is still well in it. He can come back with a big break.
So I mentioned earlier on the stream, in the European Open in the semi-final, Peter was 316 behind with about 20 odd minutes to go, made 326 unfinished, and never seemed hurried. He glanced at the clock 2 or 3 times in the last 10 minutes. That was about it.
Yeah, well, I knew him when he was a youngster, but now he's got all the experience. He knows how long he's got, that's for sure. He obviously knows his abilities. So main thing in this situation is not to panic. I mean, to be honest, I just had a look and I could see Haria. He was in about 2 or 3 times, but he was just getting a bit more hesitant, I thought. He might have been thinking, this is too good to be true.
He played a couple of good safeties earlier, Harry. One break he was on about 180 or something. Wasn't quite right for the baulk line crossing, just played safe.
Right.
So for anyone who doesn't know Robbie's the professional at the RACV club in Melbourne. That club and this club are the only 8 table rooms in Victoria. How's things at RACV?
Oh, we got to cater for all sorts of people. There's a lot of social players, and we got quite a few pennant teams, so that's good. And there's functions and you know, it's not your quiet billiard room, that's for sure. Only on occasions. So, but yeah, it's all good.
It's a magnificent room, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's one of the best in the world. There's no doubt. And the main thing is people are using the tables a lot.
It hosted the 2019 World Billiards Championship.
Yeah, so we got...
which most people say was the best in the modern era, which I agree. I think it was the best one. I've played in a lot of them since about 2012. I think it was the best one in the modern era.
Gee, I'm getting old. I used to say I'm the only guy who's won a professional billiards and snooker tournament in the modern era, but that was 1980.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At some point, the modern era's got to mean this century. I don't know when that point is.
Yeah, you're right. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? But yeah, look, you know, we're proud to host the billiards there, and there's a lot of billiards being played there actually. The referee Baulk, he likes his billiards now, and so that's all good signs for billiards. We have the annual billiards later on in the year, and there's 50, 60 people in a handicap tournament.
You'll probably see slow in off the red here to leave a drop cannon. He's taking his care. These are, any long loser's tough when you've hardly had any table time. They shouldn't be, but they are.
Well, it takes a bit of guts too, because that's the real game. Yeah. He could have easily got a cannon. The novice would get a cannon. Even a medium player might try and get a cannon, but you've got to play the right shot, and that's how you make big breaks, and that was the right shot.
Referee's doing a good job here. Victoria's head referee, Larry Forgan's not sitting far away from me. He's done a great job of recruitment in recent years. Every time I come here, I see new referees. There's one referee here this week, very good referee, and a young guy, early 20s, and it's so hard to get young people into refereeing. He was very good. He did one of my games, very good.
And there's no doubt the billiards refereeing is the hardest one of all the cue sports, for sure. Got lots of different little rules, and you've got to concentrate a lot. And
the snooker competitions, like the pros are having 25 seconds as an average shot time. One time players complained to me about a billiards player in Victoria, I won't name him, who was slow. So I timed him. He had an average shot time of 11 seconds and he was slow.
Peter needs to get them back at the top of the table here. He's got a chance here. About 3 shots. Doesn't want the kiss, really.
No,
I wouldn't have
not
thought.
Quite what he wanted.
So how's the game in Singapore?
It's good. We currently don't have a national academy. The lease ended on the previous one that closed in about October last year, and the new one doesn't open till October this year. This new one's being built.
Right.
So we're in interim stage, moving around the various public rooms. But the sport is huge in Singapore. Just this year, there's been 4 new rooms open with 20 plus tables.
Great. What, snooker tables?
Snooker, pool,
all the
Chinese 8-ball.
Yeah.
All the new rooms opening have a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
But there's just so many tables and people playing all the time. But then it's 33 degrees outside every day.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of cricket and footy grounds. Golf's very expensive. So I'm not surprised that cue sports is popular.
Well, that's right. I mean, when I lived there, you have to go out, then you've got to get a shower straight away when you come back.
That's
do you
right,
do that?
Yep. I used to.
You don't care anymore.
I'm acclimatised now.
Fair enough.
But no, they're very popular. You go into any of the public snooker rooms during the day and nearly all the tables are going. And the snooker tables are going from sort of like 11:30, 12 o'clock, The pool players sleep in a bit more.
Yeah.
They're not busy till 2.
Peter was
That's
a bit
not what he
unlucky
wanted.
there. He just caught the jaw. It's a hard shot, that soft screwing off.
So long, Jenny.
Yeah, it's
Do you-
right in the middle of nowhere, I got a feeling.
Do you
It's-
play these 1.5 times across to put it near the pyramid spot? Or do you
Mate,
play
he's
it to
just-
leave a drop cannon?
I think this is on the borderline. Not that I can see the angle, but yeah, I go back around the middle of the table there. But yeah, he just had to force it a bit anyway. Just want to get it. Good shot. Yeah.
Long loser. This is hopefully not in the pair of pants territory, which is the shot where you play the in off and the red accidentally goes in as well. It's close to that spot.
Well, he's played it thick to avoid that. So, good
I've
shot.
talked to people about that shot. When I worked with you for a while, you told me to play it with running, but most guys play that with check.
No, it depends where it is, to be honest. I
Okay.
didn't say that.
Am I misquoting you?
You are, but that's all right. Now, if it's a bit higher, I play with check. A bit
Yep.
lower, then I put the running side on.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're
but
just not sitting nice for him.
yeah, he's got a gathering cannon here.
Yeah, he really wants to pump this red into the baulk and back down into the left-hand top pocket. Or does he soft screw in off the yellow?
Depends how he feels, I suppose. This is the more accurate shot. Oh, well.
Screw cannon.
Well, that's even better,
That's
to be
nice.
honest. That's the beauty of billiards. You've got a few permutations there. I mean, normally there is only one right shot, but we didn't quite see that one. And that was probably the best shot of the lot.
Leaving what we call the 3-6-9, which Peter doesn't play a lot because he's such a strong potter.
Yeah.
He's not quite right. He's got to raise the butt of the cue a little and play it with strong left-hand side. And it's not enough. Oh, yes,
Yes,
it is.
But that one you've got to watch, you know, it's really a little mini swerve shot. So
Yes.
if you don't know the table, it's very difficult. But I think he had a bit of room there. So he leaves the drop cannon again. So in theory, it's top of the table in 2 shots. One to put the yellow there behind the spot, and then the red to pot. It's a bit low though, the yellow, to get it right behind. Yeah. But he'll be happy with that.
So it's the first baulk line warning Peter's received this game. Well, that doesn't look right either.
Oh, he'll be very unhappy with that.
Very.
He could have screwed across the other side maybe, but anyway, he's just not feeling it.
This is very tough.
Yeah, I mean, there's a forcing in off in the centre pocket a little bit off the red, but
Yeah, just gentle forcer, but it's
yeah, not
so
a big
missable.
one. Yeah, it's tempting to just pot the yellow here. I think.
You got it.
Oh, he's happy with that.
So you would have been watching the Lance panel results? 2
Well,
billiards players making the final?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Another plug for billiards.
I thought it
think.
was great.
You know, they're both great cueists, so I didn't see much of it, but I saw Rob lose yesterday, or was it this morning or yesterday?
This morning.
It's a long time to play well for that amount of days, so he might have used his energy up a bit.
Oh,
And same with Peter, to be honest. It's not easy to concentrate really well for whatever it is, 6 days or something. But yeah, I mean, I think I said I've said long ago that if you can play billiards, you know, properly, not just smash them around. You can play any cue sport
Yep.
very well, and there's a few good examples of that.
He's not happy with his snooker these days, but I think his safety's rock solid, like it's always been.
Yeah. So does he play much snooker, Peter?
A bit, but he social snooker in the cricket club
Yeah.
in Singapore.
Okay.
And I've been in the Singapore Cricket Club with him a few times to have a good practice session of billiards, and people keep sending beers over to our table. So it makes it hard to have a good session. He's very well known there, and they're a very sociable bunch of guys.
Yeah.
This looks very thin. You'll have to load this with check side if that's what
Yeah.
he's playing.
I'm not even
Or
sure he
potting
is.
it?
Pot and cannon, is it? No, he's going for it. Thick. No, it's a bit deceptive.
Yeah, the angle is deceptive.
Yeah, on this
Oh, he'll
view.
be happy with that.
Yeah, I remember the Singapore Cricket Club. I did an exhibition there years ago, and anyway, they I think I was world champion then, and I had to wait for these two guys to get off the table, and I wasn't very happy because they said they play there every Saturday afternoon, and we got to let them finish the match because this guy was going for a black. He said that black is worth more than your exhibition, and because it was $200 a point then. Oh no, actually I'm embellishing it. $100 a point then. So that was a lot of money.
So the Singapore Cricket Club, I think there's only 2 tables in the world like this. It has a 1 slate table.
Really? Wow.
They had to take out a section of wall to bring the table in. And someone told me there's another table in South Africa that's a 1 slate. So it would have to weigh 800 or 900 kilograms.
I've never even heard of that. I thought I'd have heard a lot, but that's a bit of information. Wow.
So the table doesn't have the original cushions. It's now got Waraka cushions on it. But 1 slate.
Well, it's stuck there, that's for sure. That's incredible. Who would think of an idea like that? That's more the point. Well, it's all going well for Haria. If he can play a nice shot here, he's got perfect top. And that's the shot.
Do you get many people looking for billiards coaching at the RACV?
Yeah, we got a few. Chris Nash did well in the Ballarat.
Yep.
And he's really just originally a pool player, but he loves billiards now. So, I'd always give billiards a plug, even if it's snooker or pool. That's the thing. I mean, you got to stick at it a bit longer to get the love of it. But once they do, half the people in this tournament have played billiards at RACV. I'll tell you that. Well, especially all the referees, Neville. A lot of people have had a go at it, but I think billiards you need a lot of concentration. Just get over the hump of learning the main shots, and also you need a good table too.
We don't have a lot of good tables for billiards in Singapore. Even though there's a lot of tables, they all play very square off the cushions.
Yeah, right.
They don't put the cushion tape over the leading edge of the rubber like we do here.
Yeah.
And you put a ball into the cushion at pace, it squares up. And the cushions go a bit, I use the expression pingy. I don't know if that makes sense, but the cushions go pingy very quickly. It's really not great for billiards.
Yeah. I think most of the tables, the modern tables, are more like that instead of like these.
Yeah.
Is this a steel? But this is a steel.
This
back
one is, yeah.
So even this is a bit different to the normal Alcock table, if you like. But I was brought up on these tables, so I love them, but the angles, you go to England, it's different. Simple as that.
Yeah, there are some shots that here we play a shot like a heavy stun cannon to send the ball round the table, but on those it goes up and down the table. It just never reaches the side cushion.
It's more that ping as well off the cushion. It's just that bit harder to control the balls.
Yep. These tables have played very well this week. I played in the Irish, the World Match Play and Irish Open.
Yeah.
And they were on 4 stars and 4 Rassons, freshly recovered, heated slates. These tables are playing quicker this week.
Really? That's unusual.
Yeah.
What cloth were they using?
Same straw and superfine.
76.
What are they using professional snooker these days? Do you know?
Straw and 10.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which I
same
know
as
it-
always, yeah.
At Rossa we had 10 of the tables we had superfine and 2 tables we had straw and 10. And the guys that were good judges said that it was just that bit more reactive, the straw and 10.
Yeah, well,
Little screw back shots that might come back 12 inches on the superfine, had come back 15 inches on the straw and 10.
I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it also affects the side spin a bit more. It deflects a bit more.
Definitely, definitely.
And that's what, even though I was playing in that world thing, and yeah, I probably shouldn't have, but I got caught out that it just played like what I'd call an old cloth, because I go to overdrive with a straw and 10.
Yep, yep.
So I don't know if that does our players any favours, say, if they try and play snooker overseas. That's my thought, but I'm not sure who uses all the cloth now. Well, that was a big chance to make a big break and really put the pressure on Peter. 400, can't sneeze at that in front. Just still going a fraction awkward all the time.
Yeah. So I messaged Peter yesterday and said that we play on so many tables that are less than perfect. I said, these friendly pockets, the tables are running true.
Yeah.
Time for a big break. And it hasn't quite happened since then.
Well, it may. You might need to, actually.
Looks narrow, the enough, the yellow.
Yeah. Stretching a little bit, and that's saying something with Peter. And that doesn't look good from that angle.
No, it's a bit lazy, to be honest.
Yep, exactly. You just can't take it too easy.
No, I mean, this is not a hard pot, but he's 9 feet away from it. How often do they do the tables up at RACV?
Just once a year at the before the Nationals.
Before the National, yep.
But there is an argument to put 6811 back. What do you think of that?
I'm not surprised that they're talking about it.
It's just that, well, while we're on the subject then, do you think you can stretch this cloth, this
No.
super fine?
No.
Yeah, well, so that's the issue. That's one issue anyway. Yeah, that makes it hard.
In Singapore, it costs us less than half the price to recover a table that it does in Australia.
Yeah.
There's a couple of importers of the cloth, and we're paying much less for the cloth, and the labour for the guys that recover the tables is much less than here. We can recover a table, cloth and labour, 600 Singapore dollars. It's about 720 Australian dollars.
Yeah, well,
That's
that's
like
a lot.
2,000 here, something around that.
Well, I won't go right into it, but it's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and look, if you can stretch it, then it's nearly double again, because the main thing is the spots get worn out, and if you can't, I don't know. I convinced all the parties to change all the cloths last year for the Australian. One of my better attempts at doing something, but that's nearly a one-off because everybody put in a bit more or discounted it. But really, that doesn't happen too often. I mean, years ago we used to recover all the tables all the time at every venue, but
It's not nice.
nowadays it's a bit harder to get done because of the cost.
Well, we don't put spots on at all in Singapore.
Yeah, well, that's
When
good. I'll record that.
When the spots wear out, we just recover the table.
Yeah, well,
But no, they've never. I can't remember the last time I saw a spot on a table in Singapore.
yeah, well, I keep ripping them off at RAC
Yeah.
because they don't even stay on now properly. But anyway, yeah, look, it's
I know
one
from
issue.
talking to Peter about it. He hates the spots on the table. The little soft run-through cannon.
You
it just
can't play it.
deviates.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, that's one thing that puts me off as well, as in not even play. You can't do it. All these touch.
Oh, here we go. Let's see if he can get a good drop cannon result and make a break at the top.
Yeah, well, he's an expert at this drop cannon. But it still can go wrong.
He claims he always aims to land full on the red. Never aims to land a little bit one way, a little bit of the other.
Really?
That's what he claims, yep.
Yeah,
Like that.
on that one, yeah, but when it's on the spot,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what he claims.
Russell used to go the far side, the missing side.
It's amazing how often you hit the far side and it ends up perfect.
Well, that's why you don't get the cover that
yeah,
side.
yeah.
It is the better way to do it, but you're risking missing it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, didn't want that either.
So another tricky one. Can't force in off the yellow because it'll hit the red. So he has to
thin
play the
cannon.
slow cannon, doesn't he?
It's going all
Yeah, that's not
funny.
nice.
Yeah, he's got awkward shot here.
That's about as bad as it could finish.
Maybe thick run through, just miss off the cushion, right hand side. Yep.
51.
That's the beauty of this game. If people learn the game, you're trying to pick the shot. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good. It's like run through with a bit of left.
53.
So I'm going to take a break from the commentary in a moment. And I'm going to be replaced by Rob Hall. Nice to talk to you, Robbie.
Yeah, good to see you again, Jason. I'll do a bit more. Welcome to Rob Hall, the Slants Panel Snooker winner. Well done.
Snooker imposter.
You can't imposter that many games, but yeah.
So Harria's got a good start here, Robby.
Yeah,
He got a good start against me in the semi-finals. Peter's still scrapping about a bit, trying to find position.
yeah, that's right, exactly right. He's still not getting it right. he couldn't go in a worse position a couple of times.
That's another example, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if you can't control the cue ball. But yeah, were you getting tired from the snooker and the billiards? I was mentioning that maybe.
No, I felt
felt
okay.
alright.
I mean, it took me a while to get over from the journey. Obviously, as you well know, it's a long way and it's not easy to recover from. But actually, last night I slept really well, so got no complaints there. I was just beaten by a better player today.
Well, now I've been watching this since I've come in. Really, I'll make a prediction that he's got to make another break, Haria, because he's had that many chances. Now he should be even more in front, and if he doesn't, I reckon. I don't know how Peter's feeling, but I reckon he'll put him under pressure in a minute if he doesn't make a break.
Yeah, well, Peter, although he's a long way behind, he will take confidence if Haria keeps slipping up.
Yeah.
He will step in at some point and make a sizable contribution. And that will obviously then put a bit of pressure on Haria.
Because if I'm not wrong, last time he had top of the table and missed a pot.
Yeah.
And once now he's got it again, so he's got no complaints.
He doesn't miss many pots, this guy. He's very strong, great snooker player as well. And the last day and a half he's been lethal in and around the top, so you almost expect him to make at least a couple of hundred when he gets him in this position. What was your preferred method at the top, Robby? Was it postman's or floating white?
No, I love floating white, although people will say more postman's not, but that's because I went out of position. No, Murdo Donahue taught me and made all my big breaks at floating white, really. I like to think I was the guy who brought it over in some respects to your lovely land, and then Russell and Gilchrist went an extra step with it.
Yeah, I mean, Russell at his best at floating white was just phenomenal. I think everyone would agree Russell's probably the best post-war player after the golden era of billiards.
Yeah.
Levels, concentration and touch.
What's happened with him now? What's he doing?
He's coaching snooker in Qatar, the Qatar Snooker and Billiards Federation. I played the RBSF event back end of last year, November time, and Mike was there. Had a quick chat, and he seems okay. He said he still practices occasionally, and he hasn't ruled out playing competitively again. So hopefully one day we'll get to see him play.
Yeah, had a lot of good battles with him. He had a great touch.
Talking about postmans, I mean, you had some really good postmans, not players. I mean, probably in your era, and certainly the start of mine was Sethi. Geet Sethi was fabulous postmans, not player.
Yeah, exactly.
Made some big breaks. You would have seen a lot more than him what I did over the years. But
yeah, I had a lot of battles with him. It was, I was happy to say it was about even, but he, the postman's for knock, especially when it's not Baulk line crossing, is I think is better, because then if you miss, you might leave the opponent's white on the cushion. But
yeah, absolutely.
But it's harder if you go around the table. It's not as easy. It might sound silly, but it's a bit harder. He might get out of position a bit easier just potting it, because there's a big gap and it's right behind the red spot.
You've got to land on the perfect angles, haven't you, after potting the red? Even when you're not crossing, you've got to land correct on the red just to drop on full ball for postmans. talking about crossing the Baulk line, Haria this week, and I think he's taken a leaf maybe out of Pankaj Advani's book, and he's been potting 2 off the red spot and finishing low on the red.
Yeah.
For the pot on the centre spot to cross Baulk, and he's
classic
been executing it very well. I think it gives you a little bit more margin of error on your position.
If you're a good potter, that's all. That's ABC, but.
We might see what he does shortly.
Oh, well, if you got this situation though, it's classic to just get a cannon and run round the table, leave the white. But
I mean, ideally, when you cross, you want the white well to the side of the red spot. Makes the target much bigger to drop on.
yeah, that's good. We got a bit of a top of the table player next to us, Don Richter. Fascinated by top of the table. We won't go into it, but he's made great extent. He's got a special table in his house. It's not quite full size, but it sort of is. It's nearly half a table, but it's only the top of the table side of it. So, but yeah. Actually, were you there when Mert was teaching us in Sydney and he slapped me over the head? Because he used to teach, he was a master of top of the table floating white, and he taught me. I used to write to him for a shot, and every time he wrote back, I'd get a bigger break on the day. I'd go to the garage, but when I stayed at his place, he did used to hit me over the head. It wouldn't be done now, but I remember the first time I never made a 500 break, and he said, well, I went out to his place and I made 500, and I was so happy. And then I said, let's have lunch. He said, no, let's go again. And the next shot I made another 500 break, and he said, it might be all right now. But he made you laugh. That was the main thing. Now anyway, Baulk line crossed. Now it was it's a good place to be.
Helpful little nudge off the middle jaw there.
What do you prefer? What top of the table play?
I'm floating whites.
Yeah.
I'll play postmans if the ball ends up going there, but I much prefer. That's what I've practiced for, floating white. Similar story actually regards Mike when he went to watch, he went to visit Jack Carnham at his house. Although Mark was already a good player, he made, I can't remember what the weight was, but a very large break at Jack's house. And Mark said every other shot where Jack was telling him he was playing the wrong shot.
Yeah, that's right.
But he still made it. I'm not sure if it could have even been a 4-figure break. He said, I've never played so many wrong shots in my life.
Oh my God, there's a wrong shot. That's the really wrong shot, to miss a pot right over the hole. Took it a bit easy. I just get that he's done the hard work. Baulk line crossed. I don't know if he's far enough in front.
He's definitely not far enough at this point. An hour and a half left and 440 points. Peter has got to make a sizable contribution now though.
Left it a bit skinny, has he, or is it okay? It was skinny, but it's still okay.
Yeah. Yellow's still not in a great place, is it?
No, things can go wrong here.
I think he was taking the loser off the red. I'm not sure he's going to play the cannon.
Yeah, nice shot.
Yeah.
Many people would take the cannon. Could have pushed the red over the hole, the top right pocket. Just move the yellow. So
He'll be looking for a drop cannon at some point, probably
yeah,
on,
he just
on the
wants to
same
get his
side of
arm
the table.
going. Actually, it looks like, because he could have left a cannon there, dropped the red nearer the yellow, and clipped the yellow behind the spot as well.
I think he'll play this loser thick and intentionally leave it short for the drop cannon.
Oh, caught the jaw. And is it going to... That's not nice.
No.
I don't know, we can't see from here. Short Jenny is too hard. Long Jenny looks too hard. Yeah.
Looks like he's playing the loser off the yellow. Lots of check side on this.
Yeah. Yeah, good shot.
He'll certainly try and get the yellow back up to the red now.
Now he's got to be careful, but he can develop both balls here. Or will he go for another in off?
I think he's a little bit wide for the cannon, Robby, isn't he?
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't quite fancy it from there. That's a better one. And when Peter plays these, he quite likes to play the double kiss on the red.
It's not ideal, but he's all right.
Enough, yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to play like that, to be honest. A bit thicker on the red, but now it's perfect. Has Haria won a big tournament? I'm not really up with it.
Don't think he's won a World Billiards event. He's certainly won big events in India.
Yeah. Might play on his mind a fraction. First one's always a bit harder.
I'm not sure he's ever beat Peter either, and they've played quite a few times.
Right.
So I did mention that over lunch a short while ago. I'm not sure he's ever beat Peter. It's not ideal.
Anywhere but there.
I thought maybe he could have taken the long loser off the yellow while he had an in-off red into the centre pocket. I think if he was feeling good,
Yeah,
he'd have taken the yellow before.
that's why I was saying before, he just want to get his arm going, and like, he's unlucky though. Anywhere but there. He's got a good sider from the last one, which is always a good trick. And now he's left a perfect drop cannon by the look of it.
Would you play this slow, Robby? Red off one cushion? just to
I'll
drop
hit
onto
it a
the
bit
yellow.
thick, yeah, so then you can just get the yellow moving. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, he didn't need it thick, did he? I can't see. Well, now it's time for a big break here. Hasn't quite got perfect position on the yellow, but certainly good enough.
Yeah, we're trying to leave an angle here just to lift that yellow off the cushion.
There you go.
It's
Is
just
it a fraction thin, the red?
It's a little stunning off.
You wouldn't be happy with that either, I wouldn't think.
This is almost 6-shot territory if you're thinking of the loser. You've got to be a little bit careful. Definitely don't want to pot the red, or ideally you don't even want to rattle the pocket with the red. And that's what his concern is here. Play this thick, red into the top cushion. Played it well.
Yeah, they're the tricky shots.
Just trying to get the red up a bit further so we can pot it. The yellow's so good, he doesn't really want to play a drop cannon onto it, but I think he's forced into doing that here. Just under hit the red slightly there.
Ooh, didn't want to get it that thin, the yellow, and pays the penalty.
I think he's got to run through the yellow here. He won't want to, but
I think he might be just cutting the cannon, yeah.
76.
Just keep scoring at the moment. Oh, rattled it. That's not a good sign, but it went in.
so we've just heard Baulk line warning. I think he'll go up to the middle now.
Yeah.
Leave it low.
Yep. Come off
Left.
the red, then he can get a, well, he can sort of get a mini drop cannon into the next shot if he wants to. Leave the red, the white on the far side, on the right side. I can't quite see where the pink spot is. Is that near the pink spot? The yellow?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit low for that. No, he's tried it. That's what he wants to do anyway.
It's okay. It's a little bit thin, but he'll play this thick. At this point, he'll already have an idea of how he's going to work that yellow back behind the spot. So he'll end up leaving a low pot on the red and stunning up to play half cut ball cannon back. He may have the angle here. There we go, he's left the half ball cannon to get it back behind the spot.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Be red first.
Yeah, kick it up to the line on for the yellow. That's it. Just doesn't want to leave it straight, which it's not quite straight, but
You may just leave the cross loser here.
Sam Malcolm doing the streaming, doing a great job, and he's typing in the scores. He'll be learning a bit more about billiards, will you? Yeah, he says yes, but he loves billiards.
The yellow ball's not nice there, Robby. He's got to do a bit of something with it at some point. That's not too bad. A little soft stunning off. Leave drop cannon.
Okay, one more go to get it back to top.
Play this a little bit thick. Make sure that yellow gets in behind the spot.
That'll do. Little touch cannon now off the red, hey? Bump it up. Maybe not. Yeah.
He'd have been a bit
He
disappointed there to leave the
yeah.
in off, not the pots.
And he doesn't want to go that far across it, but can come off the cushion, I think.
Comes off the cushion, catches half ball yellow. He could push this back behind the spot.
Yeah.
He'll play this with a lot of drag.
Yeah, yellow perfect. Another soft screw shot.
Yeah, wants to play a pot red in the middle next shot. He won't want a drop cannon now. So he'll play this one a bit touch firmer. Again, I think he'll be disappointed he didn't leave a pot red there, but same again, in off red, drop cannon now. Well, that looked very thin from this camera angle, but
Yeah, a bit deceptive, hey? Gone one bit too far to just play the yellow first.
yeah. You may have to go one cushion cannon here. A little bit of right hand side. Pot red cross loser. Plenty of angle to get round. He's got that yellow in that same position again though, hasn't he, where he needs to do something with it.
Yeah, just had a maximum 147 there. Oh, wrong game, sorry. No, but that's a good that's a good point. What is the equivalent of a 147 at snooker at billiards? What do you think, Rob?
Oh, I'll 500 or 600 maybe.
Yeah.
Difficult to put a number on it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I asked you.
What do you think?
Oh no, look, it's different. Like I could have told you 20 years ago or 30 years ago when they weren't that common, 147. I would have thought maybe, you know, getting close to 1,000. But now it's a whole different story. So, yeah, I tend to think what you're thinking. Like you can get, I mean, for the best players, 500 is a bit not common, but it's a good effort. But it's not extraordinary either. So I don't know what you can compare it to be honest.
Yeah, maybe 700. You don't see them very often. But then again, you see a 147 much more often
That's
than a
what I'm
700
saying.
break.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah. You see Peter's demeanour's changed a bit here, hasn't he? He knows
Yeah.
this is an important visit.
And he's feeling a bit more confident, even though it's not running for him. His demeanour, as you say, a bit more positive. I think I'm getting stitched up here, but or you are. I got a message from Todd Haywood, a great billiard lover and president of New South Wales Association. He wants me to ask you, how long would it take Peter to make it 326 unfinished? Why is that a question?
I don't like you, Todd. Don't like you one bit.
Okay, history.
No, Peter was. I think the break was 3-2. He was 316 behind me in Bruges recently, and he ran out with 3-2-2
Yeah, right. Oh well, that's a bit
to win
painful,
by 6.
but happens. It's not. There you go, Todd. Make you happy there.
The break was pretty quick, but his last 6 points were the slowest 6 points you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, that's right.
So this looks a little bit wide. Break reaches 179. So this takes a bit of judging. This one is
Yeah, that's
yellow
tricky.
cushion red.
Thought he might force the red in, but I don't know how far off the spot it is.
The double kiss here is got to be a bit careful.
And that was a good call, Rob. Well done.
I think he would have got the enough red, but he just didn't want to.
Well, he would have rather got that than do what he just did.
Just doing his best to try and control the balls, wasn't he?
Yeah,
if
he
you
could
force
have hit
the
it.
enough red, you can't.
Yeah, I
it's
know,
difficult to
yeah.
pinpoint where you're going to leave it.
He could have hit it thin too, with left-hand side. That's how you don't
Yeah.
get a double kiss.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
even harder to get the cannon. But anyway, it's 260 odd the difference, 273. So
His left half ball cannon is just be hoping for an enough white next shot. She's got, I think, so comfortable opening shot for Dhvaj Haria there.
bit of pressure on Haria now. Gilchrist getting closer, so let's see how he handles it.
So in this position, Robbie, would you try and intentionally play the 6 shot, or would you just keep
I'd
things
hit it
keep
thin
things simple?
if I can and put some running side and miss it, bring it back. Well, things have changed. Well, you played the right one. Can you do that?
No, I don't think I would have played it.
No.
But sometimes if it just looks perfect, you're okay, aren't you? But
Well, the thing is, we'll have to ask him, did he play it?
well, after he's made it, it's definitely going to tell you he did play it.
Well, I had a good player once. Oh, no, I'm not going to say. I've just decided. But anyway, he's in the balls now, but it's a bit awkward. Anyway, I wouldn't play it. Practiced avoiding it for that long. I wouldn't.
Well, that's right. I agree, actually, yeah.
Oh, can he see the other side?
You can just see enough of the red to cut that in, I think. That's half fortunate, that. He played that badly.
Yeah, well, the question is he wobbling a bit? Even though he's still scoring. I was saying that to Jason, that he had plenty of chances and I thought he should be well in front. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's much in it. He's got to really do something to put his authority onto it.
He was maybe half taken by surprise at how many easy chances he did have in the first hour.
I think he was. I think he was surprised how far ahead he was, and then he actually thought about winning. I don't know the man really, but that's what it looked like. Which is the kiss of death, as you know.
So he's good here. He's just going to keep.
This is perfect now.
So it's literally perfect floating white position here.
So you can maybe help me. So where are the other Indians? Are they? What's the story these days? I'm not really up with it.
100% sure. I mean, Surav Kathora usually plays this event. A little bit surprised he wasn't here. Dhruv Sitwal has been playing quite a lot outside of India this year, but he's already done a fair few trips into Europe, particularly.
Right.
So
time is
I know
limited.
the Indians get a certain number of trips funded in the season, and maybe the other guys have used theirs up. I'm not sure. But I do think Dhruv Sitwal is playing Sydney and Auckland in September. He's the defending champion of the Auckland Open and the New Zealand Open.
Okay, I'll see you later. Get Peter Tankard back in, one of the greatest lovers of billiards that I've ever met. So thanks, Rob.
Robby, pleasure. Just push that red a little bit too far there. He's left the in off.
Thanks, Robbie, and hello, Rob.
Hi, Peter.
Firstly, Rob, congratulations on your fantastic performance in the snooker.
Thank you.
You won the event, so you've come over here as a billiards player and used the snooker event as a bit of a warm-up to this, and won the whole bloody thing. Well done, mate.
Yeah, a bit of a turn up. That it was.
Well, not a turn up. I mean, you were runner-up a couple of years ago, were you not?
No, semi-finals. I think I've been before.
Semi-finals, right. I mean, but each year in the last few years, it's been the international billiards players that have shown up, our Australian snooker players.
Maybe there's something into playing billiards.
There could
Maybe
be something
more
about
snooker
it.
players
Maybe
should
it's-
try it, eh?
But great performance in that also from Jaden Dinger, knocking in the
Yeah.
high break of 123.
Yeah,
Great
he's a
young prospect, that kid,
fine
isn't he?
curist, yeah. He made a nice 180 break earlier this week against Michael Pearson.
181 against Michael.
So, again, a very good knock, that.
Yep, he's. I don't think he's 20 yet. He's late teens, I believe. So, I mean, he's a very, very good prospect.
Late teens with a moustache.
Late teens with the beginnings of a moustache.
Well,
yeah, it
yeah.
is a moustache.
Call it what you will.
But no, he's a wonderful young curist and got a great attitude. Great attitude.
I think Dhvaj, what he needs to do here is make if there is such a thing, a simple, relatively risk-free sort of 200 break to just try and put this game to bed. He certainly won't be taking any undue risks.
No. Well, the Indian players in general are not known for taking undue risks. In fact, Dhvaj may be at the more adventurous end of that cohort. He looks to have picked up the pace a little bit too.
I think all the top players do when they're in good position and there's almost not a lot of thinking going on.
Mm.
When you're playing shots from all too familiar positions, it's allows you to play at a nice rhythm. Billiards is a game of rhythm, isn't it? It's
Completely. They call it the flow, don't they? Once you get in the flow.
yeah, much more than snooker, I think.
Well, the concentration is longer. The breaks take more time. There are more shots, of course, in making those breaks.
More shots, but a lot of the shots are the same, aren't they? But that's the skill of the game.
They're variations on a theme. They're never exactly the same, but they're variations on a theme of shots. Subtle variations of side and stun and spins. We also in this tournament we had a couple of pool players turn up who've been exposed to billiards and have kind of fallen in love with the patterns of play in billiards and the spins that they see.
What were their names, Peter? Just to test you.
Well, Graham Wright's been playing a few pool
Yeah.
tournaments. Norman Bashara was in my group, and this was his first ever billiards tournament, but
Good.
he's a very experienced pool player. And I think if I was to summarise what the comparison is between the three games, I would say that snooker's really all about precision. It's highly specialised. One element of billiards, which is the pot, but highly specialised and highly precise. Pool, I think, tends to be a bit more creative because the pockets are easier, so there's bank shots, combination shots. Billiards to me is the all-round game where you need all the skills to make that work, both precision and creativity. And I'd put you at the precise end of the billiards playing cohort, Rob. You know, you're in such a strong pot and you're seldom out of position. Must have been a bit of shell shock playing Dhvaj in the semi-final, where he's pumped in 650 points.
Yeah,
in
no, he
three
played
consecutive
well.
breaks.
Yeah, he played well. I can't really say I got a slow start because I never really had a lot of table time to try and get anything going, but he certainly put the pressure on early on. I had one particularly good chance, probably with about 40 minutes to go, just over.
Yeah.
About 500 behind. I got to about 200, but I fancied the job actually. Felt really good on that break, but I went across the baulk line, and the my cue ball squared up off the baulk cushion and come all the way down the table and covered the red spot. With my ball at the top, postman's knock position roughly.
Really?
I just missed the pot into the baulk pocket, just left it over the bag, and he went on to make another 200 break.
So really it needs a slip up from Dhvaj at this stage for Peter to get even a foot in the door.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting position this with the white there. He'll be wanting to get it away from that position as quickly as possible.
Why so? That was clever to use the cushion so that he didn't slip underneath the red there.
Again, he just needs to keep it as simple as possible.
So 369?
Yeah, I would say.
369 is pot red, in off the red in the other corner, push the red over the middle pocket. Now there's a good crowd in. Some years we don't get a great crowd here, but every seat's taken in the room today, and that makes a better atmosphere for the players.
So he's got a really good red there. He'll be trying to get this white back up from in off ideally. He's left it short.
So many options here though, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean he'll go loser off the red. Not mad keen on that shot, if I'm being honest.
No, nor am I.
This is just put a little bit of risk on this.
Needs a full connection on the red.
He's okay.
Workable. Something you don't see often in this match. Somebody going for a rest. They've both got to reach like an albatross.
So this is another example of keeping things just as simple as possible.
So Rob, we were talking off camera before about whether Dhvaj has actually ever won a WBL event.
No, we're just saying now with Robby, I don't think he has. Yeah, I know he's won some big events in India.
Yes, he has.
So winning big events won't be strange to him. But I don't think he's ever beat Peter either, actually.
Really? I mean, this would be a big day for him, claiming both you and Peter in the one day.
Yeah. I know we live a long way apart. I've played Dhvaj quite a few times now, as has Peter. I think when you get to the top end of the sport, you meet each other quite regularly at the pointy end of events.
Yes.
So he's going to push this behind the spot, I believe.
He would have liked that a little further over, perhaps.
Yeah. Again, just trying to get this. He's underhit a few of these. He just wants to try and get this back for a pot red in the centre pocket. That's underhit again.
Underhit again. So, Rob, in your billiards career, would you say you've modelled yourself on anyone?
Well,
I know in the early days you used to hang out a lot with Mike Russell and...
Yeah, I think if you're a modern day billiard player, if you say you haven't tried to model yourself on Mike Russell, you're probably lying. Yes. Because I think he's the best player that any of us have seen live.
Yes.
The best player since the golden era, the pre-war times, the Lindrum days.
And there've been some great players in that era, haven't there?
Absolutely,
I mean, in the modern era.
Yeah.
But in terms of a record, it'd be hard to surpass Mike Russell.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Touch and control.
I think 17 WPBSA and IBSF world titles. I think Tankard claims more than that, but a few of those are team events and snooker.
Tankard is a little bit different as he actually plays
that's him.
Snooker to a high level.
Yes. Okay, how do you play this? Is this no? You can't line them up.
Honestly, I think he should split them. I think he should play safe.
I think you're right.
Just given the position of the match.
Well, that's probably enough. It would be a
450.
it's not impossible, but it's.
No, it's time. Peter's got time. He's still got plenty of time.
But it's you'd say it's odds against now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure.
But he'd still fancy the task. He's not one to give it away.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't try and score from this either, because he'll know he's got time.
But he will. He likes to attack. Oh.
I think he should just hung on there for a couple more visits, see what unfolded, to be honest.
I think there's that pressure of the clock as well. He feels like he needs to get in.
Peter will know exactly how many he can score in 50 minutes.
Yes.
He's been playing for 40 plus years. He'll know exactly what he can score in an allotted amount of time.
Absolutely, and of all the modern players, I don't think there's anyone I've seen who has a better control over the time than Peter. I watched him play in Ireland. There were a few times that he was very aware of the score. At one stage, he was a chance of making the high break with the clock running down. And I walked past his table, and he had one of the new Korean referees who was taking a bit of time to figure things out and spot things, and that was driving him nuts. So he pulled me aside and he said, "Can you take over the refereeing? She's not fast enough. I'm on chance for the high break." I said, "Mate, I can't take over. She's the allocated referee. She's doing it for a living."
He's always desperate to get that extra bit of cash, isn't he?
He chases the high break, as you know better than anyone else. In many ways, I often think he'd rather make the high break than win the tournament.
He's quite proud of the fact that he's got the record high breaks.
Yes.
1346 made in Hamilton, New Zealand, and he also made
1,000 even.
1,000 in that was in the Ivy Rooms in Carlo.
Yeah.
But also he's made 157 in a 150 up match.
Yes.
Which I don't think will ever get beat.
That is the world record. So it was an 8 shot on 159. 149.
Yeah.
It's theoretically possible to make a 159, but that would need a 10 shot.
And I bet you he knows what the world record is for 100 up.
Yes.
Because he'll always be trying to beat that as well.
He does. I don't recall myself what it is, but I was talking to him about it. Yes, he knows that record as well. Yes, he does love the breaks.
In fact, when he made his first 1,000 break, the 1346, he had a little wager with another Englishman called Paul Dunning. I think in the event before, where there was 1 hour matches, Peter made an 895 unfinished. And then the following event, which was the New Zealand Open, which had longer matches, and he asked Paul what odds he would get. We would give him on making 1,000 break, having never made one before.
Yes.
And Paul offered him 12 to 1. And Peter being Peter,
he took it.
Paul, I think he put $100 on himself at 12 to 1. Yeah. I think he was on 998, and he had a very, very easy mid-table cannon or a choice of long losers. And I think he glanced over at Paul and played the long loser to make 1,000. I can't tell you what Paul said, actually.
Would have loved that.
We can't broadcast that.
Yeah.
Used to be a great player and a really good guy, and if he is watching, I hope Paul Dunn's keeping fit and well. Last I heard, he had moved to Ireland from England, so used to travel to New Zealand a lot with Peter Shelley and the
Oh yes.
They used to call themselves the loose cannons.
It's like the billiards version of the Barmy Army, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying earlier that we've just learned that Dhvaj is in fact from Ahmedabad, where they had the plane crash.
Yes, yeah.
What a shocker.
We actually mentioned to him earlier that we thoughts with him, and hopefully that nobody he knows is involved with any of the injuries. So he was actually saying that he's flown that route on many occasions.
Yeah, well he would, wouldn't he?
Into London, so sad times.
Well, the world's a funny place at the moment. Thank heavens for billiards for keeping us sane.
Yeah.
Why has he moved it over there? What's he playing here? A long Jenny?
He's going to play the long Jenny, I think.
Cross the white over to put it next to the red.
Yes. These look easier than the standard, but they're
wide.
They're unfamiliar visually, so they're
yes.
they're a
So
bit
it's
different.
off the cushion. You really have to estimate that, don't you? Also, that shot has become harder to play in recent years because of the variability on the cloths.
Yes.
If you're playing on those, I'm going to call them snooker tables because they're really set up for snooker with steel block cushions and napless cloths. You just don't get the ball turning on the cloth and drifting into the pocket as we would on the old 6811 cloths, or even on this superfine.
The Jennies are much more difficult on the I call them like ultra modern conditions, if you like.
Yes.
Heated tables, tight pockets.
Yep. That's a better phrase than snooker conditions. They're just modern conditions, aren't they? They tend to be related to the Chinese-made tables, who put in a couple of innovations which make snooker a little easier, but billiards a little harder.
It's a funny one, isn't it? The modern conditions have made snooker easier.
Yes.
Moving the cue ball, splitting the reds, etc.
Yes.
But the modern conditions have made billiards much harder.
Yes.
For all the same reasons, it's made snooker easier. The balls are too reactive.
Yes.
The cloths are too slidey.
Yep.
The balls are too glossy.
Yes.
It's all well, none of it's good for billiards.
No, that's right. Oh, just dodged the double kiss.
So I'm just
there.
looking here, there's 480. Still time.
Theoretically possible, but
Yeah.
odds against. Oh, that's gone wrong. Onto the cushion. Salvageable, but harder than it needed to be. So, Rob, you didn't bring your good lady wife Anna, who's an Australian.
No,
back home, son?
unfortunately not. No, she's got a teaching position back in the UK now. So
Teaching music?
teaching music,
Oh,
piano and
good for her.
guitar.
Multi-talented lady.
Yep.
And
She
former-
says billiards is more difficult than piano, and I strongly disagree.
For those that don't know, Anna is a first-class billiards player in her own right, and in fact has a former world women's champion.
Yeah, she won the women's championship here in Melbourne in 2019.
Yes. Was all that good coaching from you at the time, I think, Rob?
Right. I'll claim anything. I'll claim anything. But me and Anna actually won our local pennant league this season in billiards, so we were happy with that.
Oh, that's good.
Handicap league we play in. And she's
So
been-
you're playing in the same team?
Yes, Team Hall.
That could be dangerous.
Well,
I can't even agree with my wife what to buy at the shops.
I find keeping my mouth shut is the best policy.
Let the queue do the talking.
But no, she's been playing some good stuff this season actually. So she's not been playing many the big events through work commitments, but midweek league she's been playing some nice billiards. So
So that was probably the last cannon that he can make in this kind of reverse top situation. He's going to have to break them down a bit here and reform them to get good top of the table.
see what Peter will know is exactly how long it takes him to make a 100 break,
Yes.
and then he'll be judging the clock off that.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, Peter kind of average pace, he'll make 100 maybe six and a half minutes, something like.
Yeah.
But he'll be comfortable at going 5 minutes if he had to.
We were talking earlier about how deliberate and meticulous he was in Bruges against David. He just
Yes,
changed the pace
yeah.
of that match, took
Yeah.
control of the
Yeah.
pace, made David play at Peter's pace, and David famously makes everybody play at his pace, which seems like a rush to everybody else.
Yeah, he's
He's a bully, isn't he, Dave? I mean, in a good way.
yeah. When he gets his fantastic front runner, David. You have got to try and slow him down if you want to. You've got to try and get in front and play a nice steady pace game. So now I think he'll leave the red alone. He'll play a loser off the yellow. Well, I certainly would, to try and get it back up.
He's not playing a 5-shot here, is he? No. No, he's not that crazy.
I think he could go about this little visit a bit differently by going losers and getting both balls towards the magic circle and going to top 5 that method. He's forcing himself now to play a cannon with where that red's landed.
Yes.
This looks a touch wide as well.
It does look a little wide. It's hard to tell from this angle.
So
but it
he'll
does
play
look a little
this pretty slow with lots of running. Use this.
wide.
By
Gone a bit
playing it
ugly
slow,
there.
he gives the side more time to drift over.
This is missable.
Maybe half interested in the screw cannon here.
You can never tell. Peter always cues to the bottom of the ball. That's a good call, Rob Hall. That's a good call.
Just kept all the balls on the top slate by playing that.
The top slate being about 1/5 of the table.
Yeah. I call it keeping
Well,
them
I
on
think
the top
that's a
slate.
good name for it. It's very descriptive.
Same thing as saying keeping them
Same.
at the spot end of the table,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. We're saying earlier too, you call that configuration where you play in off the white to put it behind the spot and then pot the red, the drop and pot, which
Yes.
is not an expression we use in Australia.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good one.
I don't know
Drop,
how-
drop and pot. Did you invent that? Or?
Probably. Just
Yeah, well, I think it's a good expression. It's a very convenient way of describing a 3-shot sequence.
So he's managed to get them back into some sort of position here. He'll play a little kind of flick screw cannon here. Fairly thin.
Yep. Needs to cross the Baulk line, and he's figuring out how to leave half ball red pot to go around the table.
Play a thin cannon here. Just I think he could have flashed later there, but he caught that red a little bit thin, didn't he?
He did.
Two pots and up to the middle, I think.
The Panko's
Is an
crossing.
option. Yeah, might not be a bad option here.
It doesn't look like he's played for that. 8 points left.
Screw across the face of the yellow.
No,
Yeah, he's going
well,
up.
here's the go round now. So less than ideal.
So he's got a choice here. He can go now, or he can finish low on the pot in the middle. Red's going on the centre spot after this, I think.
There we go. Well, he really would have been. Oh, okay.
Use it to
That's
stop.
clever. That's clever.
400 points.
40 minutes.
So we're looking at
Theoretical
sub 8 minute
possible.
100 still.
I mean, it'd be a hell of a comeback. And it
Yeah,
really
but if there's
requires
one person who could do it, probably
Sure.
Peter. And I can tell you now, Dhvaj is looking at the clock as well. He'll
Yes.
be trying to figure out whether
when he's safe.
is Peter playing well enough? 2, is he playing quick enough?
Okay.
Yeah.
And this
Unexpected there.
So 100 here from Dhvaj will settle the matter, I think.
Dhvaj is just looking at the clock here, I think.
If you looked at these two, you would say that it's a definite advantage being tall in billiards, but in fact there are all kinds of body shapes in billiards, and there doesn't seem to be a natural body shape like in basketball or football or some other sports. I think we're a bit more democratic. Oh, grazes that white. Plays the 5 shot.
Peter's obviously very tall, but he has suffered with a bad back over the years.
Yes.
Something Dhvaj might be may struggle with in future years if he's not careful.
Okay, that's pretty ugly now. It's hard to tell with these angles whether he's got
Yeah,
a
I
forcing
think that's
him
on,
off
isn't
that
it?
white.
Right,
Queuing
playing
over
safe.
the red makes it worse.
Don't think he's playing it.
No, he's not. Well, why would you take a chance when you're 400 in front? You've just got to keep him quiet. Peter will be trying to figure something here because he doesn't want to get into an extended safety duel and
No.
at this stage. So he's more
There's
or less
nothing.
forced to invent something.
I don't think there's anything on here.
I don't either. Pot yellow doesn't help. Takes a ball off the table.
Forcing Jenny.
And how ugly is that?
You can get a bit of
I think
side
that's
on
what
it.
he's playing.
Oh, he's played the
Oh
double
no,
enough.
cross double. Is that red off the spot?
Yes, that is very low, I would say. This is half ball in the middle though.
Mm. Going to hit the red. What's going to happen?
That's good.
Come up nice.
There won't be an ounce of rush in this break, I can assure you.
Overhit that. Wanted to make sure of the score. He was concerned about the ball drifting off at slow speed. Another safety.
Yeah. Got to be, I think.
He's become a little bit better at clock management after that 2019 final with David in Melbourne.
Yeah, that was a fabulous match, wasn't it?
It was a fabulous match, but I still think Dhvaj could have won, except he was playing the all-round game and not. If he just parked on the red spot and played, 45 points in red balls, he probably would have won. Yes, Peter's really forced now to take things on, even if they're unpalatable. That's exploded a bit wider than he anticipated.
He's
406 in the difference, 32 minutes. Did he play that?
That's a nice fluke.
Did he play that? Surely he was playing the cannon.
Yeah, he's put his hand up there.
Oh, okay. Well, when they're running for you, they're running for you.
If he can make a 50 off losing hazards here, he'll eat enough time up, I think.
Yep.
It's going straight to the top.
Yeah, he said, forget 50, I want 200. Forced to come around that side because the white was blocking the pathway to the opposite pocket.
Little screw pot sleeve, a cushion cannon. He started to come around and look at every angle possible now.
Yes, because that eats up a little more time as well. It's not really gamesmanship.
No,
he's just being
not,
cautious.
Yep.
Just being cautious and making sure everything is coming out as planned. So in off the white or the cannon? The cannon.
He's trying to leave in off white there.
Yeah, that's gone a little ugly. He's got a run through in off the white. And can push the white up into a cannon position above the red. No!
Yeah.
Holds his hand up to Peter to say, as if to say, I'm sorry, but he wasn't. It was intentional. And now he's following Rob Hall's advice and just resolved to play the open game and run that clock down. So Peter's really up against two opponents now, and that is a relentless clock and a relentless opponent.
He'll take a few off the red. I don't think he'll be bothered by 15 hazards. He'll just he'll end up putting this red in bulk at some point.
On the last shot, yep.
Yeah, maybe even before,
Maybe even
straight
now.
away. Yeah.
Yep. It's kind of risk-free for him, isn't it? So he's
Yep.
done it on the very first shot. Plays a safety and forces Peter to try and create something.
Peter hasn't got much choice now. He's got to.
No, he has to.
Probably got to have a go at these. Three cushion half ball yellow. No, it's unlucky.
That's just sucked up more time as well, because Dhvaj is just going to tap this again. Leave them where they are. In fact, it's now a bit
Same
easier than
shot.
it was.
4 cushions behind the red.
Yeah,
Stun
he
across
loves
to
this one, doesn't
stun
he?
across to the yellow.
Oh,
Dhvaj is going to go nowhere near that red.
yeah. It's that red is exactly where Dhvaj wants it now. Oh no, that's going in again. That's going to take up more time. That's when they're running, they're running.
He'll play this full ball to allow for a drift either way.
Dhvaj Haria, 889. Gilchrist, 454.
So again, Peter has to
Yeah.
invent something crazy to behind the red. Lucky.
I think that is match done now.
Yeah, I think that's curtains.
Not quite sure what Dhvaj is looking at there.
Anything at all.
What-
Rob,
yeah.
anything at all.
Just
Forcing in off the red. Keep the red on the centre line of the table and play some more of these balls that run and run and run. Take forever. 27 minutes. He's played very cleverly, Dhvaj. Taking the chances when they're there and then shutting up shop when they're not. Didn't want that, wanted to clip it on the way down.
he won't be bothered about that now.
No. Another safety.
Looked like he was about to play thinning off into the ball pocket for a minute.
Yeah, he's going to play thin something, but don't think that was the shot.
Pop cannon.
Dhvaj Haria, 10.
Left a half chance here.
This will be a good shot. Screwing off.
I think there comes a point with Peter where he's far enough ahead or far enough behind that he just moves into exhibition mode, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what's.
Switches to vaudeville.
I think Dhvaj should probably do the same as well now.
I don't think the Indian programs are the Indian players are programmed for vaudeville. It's they treat the game with great respect. Has to attack. And as almost always happens when you attack that double baulk, you end up just improving things for your opponent. So, Rob, you've been a great supporter of our events in Australia, and we love having you down here, and we learn a lot every time we see you play. So, we're hopeful you'll be back again next year to defend the Lance Panel Snooker title, mate.
Might actually practice some snooker before next year.
That's right. So did you practice any snooker at all before entering a snooker event?
Nah.
That's a disgrace. That is an absolute.
2 inches of dust on my snooker balls at home. Don't get touched. Ever.
Well, I can't tell you how heartbreaking that must be for all of the snooker players listening to hear that you treated it so casually and still pumped everyone.
I think safety was my biggest weapon in the snooker this week.
It usually is for the billiards players, isn't it? You can put them in any snooker you want and get out of any snooker they lay. So. Again, that was another event that young Jaden Dingo went well at. So.
Yeah, took the high break.
Took the high break, but when he switched over to billiards, he wasn't playing snooker shots anymore. He was playing genuine billiard shots, and huge respect for that, because obviously the young man can park on the red spot and pot reds all day long if he chooses to do that. But he didn't do that. He wasn't playing snilliards. He was playing real billiards, and he really looked the goods. We're very excited about him as a player.
Another one of your top juniors has just walked in, Zachary Burns.
Zachary
also
Burns,
a good prospect.
Well, he's the younger brother of Josh Burns, so they've taken to calling him second degree Burns and Josh is first degree Burns.
What's the dad, Ricky, then?
I don't know. Major Burns, perhaps.
Chinese Burns.
Chinese Burns.
I remember Josh when he was roughly the same age as Zachary, and he was in Leeds, travelling to the World Championships. First time we saw Josh play.
Yep. He's improved that cue action a little. He was almost unwatchable as a 16-year-old, wasn't he, with that stutter in the action. But he seemed to deliver straight.
He's dealt with almost looks a bit yips-like, doesn't it? But he's dealt with it very, very well. I was only talking to Peter last night about that, and we both said how well he's dealt with that.
Yes.
I think he was the runner-up in your nationals last year.
He was, yeah.
He had a good
defeated Michael Pearson. And
that's right, yeah.
Yep.
Your national starts tomorrow.
It does. We bid a fond farewell to our overseas players and hack them around amongst ourselves. Been happening a lot this week. People overscrewing that wide cannon.
I think with new cloths, they're just a little bit more reactive, a little bit more lively.
Yes.
You've only got to hit fractionally low on the cue ball, and you get too much bite.
So are there new cloths at Landywood for the World Championship each time?
Yes, I mean, Paul at Landywood is unbelievable. The star tables he has there, he covers them every 12 weeks.
Wow.
£1,000 a table each time.
Is that commercially viable? Don't know.
No,
we're not running his business. But
it costs him £1,000 a month to heat the 4 tables as well.
Wow.
He's been a godsend for billiards in the UK, that is for sure.
Well, he's meticulous about the table conditions, and if that's not the best room in the UK by a country mile, I don't know what is.
And he's on the board of directors for World Billiards now, so that's...
Yep.
He's a good businessman.
We need those. So what's your favourite event on the World Tour to play, Rob?
I do like this event because I don't get to see you guys all that often over here, so it's nice to get over here for a week. But I will say I did prefer it when it was long up, but not easy scheduling wise, I realise.
Yeah, oh, miscue there. Wry smile from Peter. He played the in-ox. Just a safety, yeah. You used to enjoy Canada too. The gentlemen of Winnipeg need to get their act together again and run those. They're great tournaments.
I think there's starting to talk about potentially an event there in the next year or two.
Well, they got interrupted by COVID, of course. They were talking about actually hosting a world championship, which would have been a wonderful thing to have an event in North America, a world championship in North America. But then COVID intervened, and they seem to have lost a little impetus. They were trying to run it in 2020 as a centenary celebration.
That's correct,
for the Winnipeg Veterans English Billiards League. Now he's just showing off.
I went over to Winnipeg for a week's coaching clinic for the guys over there a couple of 3 years ago.
Some of Walter's nurseries, he says. Well, this is the Walter Lindrum Open, so get them together, Peter, and let's see you run a couple of hundred in nurseries. Rob, we were talking in Ireland about nursery cannons, and I asked you the question because they are talking about changing the rules to try and introduce some nursery cannons back into the game. The current limit is 75, and I asked you the question, what number would motivate you to put in time on nursery cannons as part of your game? So you might repeat that answer.
Oh, I can't remember what I said, but I'd probably say I probably wouldn't practice them anyway.
That's what you said. That's what you said. That you just didn't feel that they formed part of the modern game.
No, I mean, I think on certain table conditions probably suit them better than others, but I don't practice them, but they can be quite nice to practice if you're struggling with your touch a little bit. They can soon get you dialed in. And they are fascinating.
Yeah, it's like a whole.
But as a true scoring method, I'm not sure anymore.
I mean, it's a whole field of study on its own.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You have to invest man-years in just the tiny movements of the balls to become truly proficient.
There's been some fairly good players at nurseries over more recent years. Phil Mumford was a very strong nursery player. Roxton Chapman was a good nursery cannon player. And there's an amateur, well, actually an ex-professional back home that plays a few, and that's Mark Hurst. He's a lover of the nursery cannons.
Look at this under the body a la Mark Williams.
Phil Mumford's the only player I've heard get one for 70 hazards, and he actually fouled and played a 76th cannon.
Just because he could.
Because he couldn't get they were jammed, I think. He couldn't get one ball past the other. That was a few years ago in Birmingham in England.
So Peter hitting them with speed and abandon at this stage, in the knowledge that the match has slipped away, so he can basically just enjoy himself. So very good referee, this Bohan Lin, isn't he?
He is, his excellence.
Unobtrusive, fast.
Yep.
Gets the ball back on the spot quickly and error-free. And real skill set, doesn't stand in front of the camera.
I think we mention this, Peter, every time when we're refereeing towards of a long timed match, which is pretty one-sided. Is the room in the game for the mercy rule where you can concede, where you just simply cannot win?
Maybe there's an argument for it in the knockout section, Rob, but certainly not in the group stages.
No, I agree.
Where points for and against
absolutely.
count. But yes, I think there's a place for it in the knockouts.
I think if both players were happy.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
for the match to finish early, I don't see
one of them is going to be happy to accept a concession.
Because the last thing Peter wants to be doing here is playing billiards for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. But look how fast he's moving now. As I say, it's the freedom that comes from either knowing you're definitely going to win or definitely going to lose. So now he can enjoy it.
And the other bonus is he hasn't got enough time to make the high break, I don't think.
Is that right? Who's got the high break?
I'll be claiming that as well.
Yes. Well, that'll probably...
He might prove me very wrong here if he goes 4 minutes 100.
You having the high break will probably annoy him more than Dhvaj beating him in the final.
Oh, I hope so.
That's gone wrong. Not much there now. Double the red.
2 cushion cannon, maybe, around the yellow pocket. Yeah. Well, Dhvaj is a worthy winner for sure. He's played very well today.
Oh, look, he's played so well against you and so well against Peter.
He was solid. He's been solid in the groups as well.
Yep. Didn't make a mistake there either. So
he hasn't had any bad matches, I don't think. So
no, hasn't lost a match. Couple of upsets in the group stages. Graham Wright beating David Cosgriff was probably an upset. Biggest upset would have been Jaden Dingo, the young man we were speaking about earlier, beating Michael Pearson, including a break of 181 in the group stages. That was a tremendous effort for a guy playing his second international billiards tournament. He played the Sydney Open last year as well. But, to be able to knock off the second seed in the Nationals, Michael, and perennial runner-up to Steve Mifsud in our own national title, that's a great effort for a guy yet to reach what they used to call his majority, being 21.
I think I've seen online he's had an invite to play in Bahrain in the World Under-21 snooker.
Well, so he should.
So
he should. But I could just tell looking at him, because I've also played him in the group stages, that he was actually enjoying the kind of seductive spins and elegance that you only get in billiards. He was loving it. He played 3 cushion run-throughs with a huge side, smashed them in, and it just brought the house down. And you could see his pure enjoyment at playing the shots. And as I say, was playing real billiards, genuine 3-ball billiards, not just pot red, pot red, pot red. So a bit exciting for us to have a couple of very good juniors in the field this year.
You'll play a 1 cushion cannon here. Oh no, play direct.
Direct. These angles are very deceptive, aren't they? Cannon. Bring them together for nurseries. Oh, close. Not quite. How straight's your queuing, Peter Gilchrist?
Straight's the table.
How straight's the table, indeed. Oh, this is pretty good, isn't it? This is pretty good.
It turned away.
Oh, it turned away at the end. It was on the way.
Full of excuses, this guy. I went into the room earlier on during the match, and it was nice to see so many people here.
That's a good crowd, isn't it? So every seat in the house is taken. You can't get in there. So
50% of them were asleep, mind, but it was,
of course,
it was good to see.
I've been known to fall asleep watching billiards. It's the only thing that calms me down. Oh, okay, that's dropped. So that's a bit of a problem. He's so tall, though. I'm sure he can just bridge over that ball with no effort at all.
Just tempted by the double kiss cannon here, I think, but
Yeah.
can't get at it.
Just lay the cue down on the table, facing towards you, with the tip facing towards you, and push. I wonder if in the back of his mind he just thought, I'm better to separate the balls because of the risk of nurseries. Did Dhvaj enter the Nursery Cannons Challenge?
No, he didn't want to part with $20 apparently, so.
Yep, I get that. Oh, come on. Cut it out.
Did you play?
No, he didn't play it. That's why he smiled.
Top of the table in Baulk here.
Yeah, that's right. Reverse top of the table. Seriously, reverse top of the table. Yes. Had to play it at pace to try and get the opponent's ball out of Baulk. See, this is the point, Rob, where you'd say,
Yeah,
concede and move on. Thing with Peter is you would never know from his demeanour whether he's winning or losing. Doesn't grizzle, doesn't grumble.
No. Little PK screw.
Yep. Elevate cue, just drop it on the cue ball. Oh, he didn't reach. Unusual. It's really his specialty, those PKs and massays, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's nice to see Dhvaj having a bit of a giggle. Peter will always be smiling. A bit like Jimmy White. I heard Jimmy White interviewed earlier. He was on the Stephen Hendry Snooker channel.
Yep.
And he said he was never too fussed about how he went in tournaments because win or lose, I'll have a booze.
think we'll have a few beers tonight down Yarraville Club.
Could be.
Nice presentation evening down there.
Slip by.
Dhvaj Haria 999. Gilchrist 597.
Paul enjoyed saying that.
Oh, it's
We'll never know. We will never know. I think it was there. and bounces out onto the perfect half ball angle. How did Dhvaj do in the snooker? Oh, okay. So what was it? Was all billiards players in the semi?
So quarter final, I think.
Quarter final.
Was it quarter final? I think Steve beat him in the quarters.
Right.
But he's a very strong snooker player. There's not many of the Indian players actually practice billiards.
Well, that's right. No, I mean, they're all.
I know
they're all
Pankaj and
switch hitters.
Surav, they all mainly play snooker.
Yes.
Um,
Don't know that Dhruv plays a lot of
no,
snooker, does he?
I think he's probably.
He's more of a billiards specialist.
I know Dhvaj practices a lot of snooker.
Yeah. So, a little bit of credit here too to the referees here in Victoria, not just because Larry Forgan, Director of Referees, is within earshot, but they do a fabulous job here, and there's no... Oh, Rob, you beat him in the grand final. You beat him in the semi-final.
That's this event.
Yes, sorry. Sorry, wrong. So,
Just a few seconds left now. One last exhibition shot.
and it's a full pot. Oh, great final. Fantastic credit to Aj. Yes. So Dhvaj, you've had a good visit to Melbourne with a semi-final
Yes.
and winning a final.
Yep.
Dhvaj has had a quarter-final in the snooker. And Peter's had a final and a semi-final. So
Final and a
two
final.
two finals. So he's the runner-up in both events.
So yeah, thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Rob. Always a pleasure chatting
Thank you
with
to all
you.
you guys in Australia for being fabulous hosts yet again. And if I don't get back before, I'll be back next year.
Fantastic.
Do it all again.
We've got the Sydney Open and the Auckland
Yeah,
Open.
I'm going to try and get
double.
to that. It's
That's 5, 6, 7 November
Yeah.
for the Sydney event. The following Wednesday in Auckland for the Auckland Open, followed by the New Zealand Open. So it's a triple header. If ever you've wanted to come to Australia and see a kangaroo and a kiwi at the same time, this would be your opportunity. Well, that's what you tell the wife. You're actually just going to be indoors playing billiards. But, yep.
playing
Thank you,
billiards
Rob.
and drinking beer, eh?
Exactly, mate. Cheers.
Right, thank you.
And thank you, Sam, for the stream.
players in the world together, and to give people of more modest standard the opportunity to play against them. That's you try doing that at the French Open and see how far you get trying to play Novak Djokovic. So it's wonderful for players of all standards to be able to compete on more or less equal terms with some of the best in the world. Thanks to the Yarraville Club for making one sponsorship, and I'll say a little more about this in the presentation. But really thanks to the Yarraville Billiards and Snooker Club for giving up this venue for the best part of 10 or 12 days. It's a big impost on the members, and we really appreciate it. So I'll have some more to say about the sponsors and various other things that are associated with what's been 3 weeks of Billiards after the presentation when Robby and Tankard presented the brand new screen. Thanks all for your attention. It's wonderful to see so many people here too. I think probably this number of people that have been in this final has only been exceeded by the World Cup, the World Championship in 2019 in recent times. So there's about 40 people here, and that's fantastic for Billiards.
Yes. I'd like to add my own thanks to the Yarraville Club, Billiards and Snooker Club and all their members, etc. Simon's done a power of work in terms of getting sponsors and support for this. The Yarraville Club have been magnificent, but I'd especially like to provide my own personal thanks to our Director of Referees and the main organiser of the whole event, Larry Forgan. Two things: nothing is able to happen at these events without all the work that Larry does behind the scenes, etc. But I'd also like to congratulate him on the basis of the referees that he has recruited, the manner in which he's trained them. Before this event, he had an advanced billiards refereeing course, and so many people came along and attended because the referees here in Victoria work very hard at being able to improve themselves and provide world-class refereeing for our world-class players. And so in regard to that, I think Larry's done a magnificent job, but I would also personally like to congratulate the referees that we have operating in the state of Victoria, but especially the referee for the final, Bohan Lin. So if we could head up towards the Yarraville Club, we'll meet you up there. At the moment, I'd like it if you would hang around the bar area, because there is another function going on in bar 135, which is the room that we use. So there's no point racing up there too quickly. I have to enter these results too. And then I'll meet you at the bar, and then I'll make sure that bar 135 is open, and then we'll usher you in there. But there is another function going on there at the moment, and so we don't want to crowd the bar area of bar 135 at the moment, but the sports bar. Please hang around the sports bar, make yourselves to home, have a drink at the club, and we'll get up there as soon as we can. There you go, mate.
Congratulations, sir. Brilliant, mate.
Time for लास्ट में तो भाई 20 मिनट में नहीं 500 ना था ये तो खबर है टाइम लिमिट है टाइम कौन कर रहा है ये हमने 5 और किया हमने आया 5:30 हां आया 1 मिनट हां मैं बिल्कुल दोनों टेबल है जो